Good day, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How about you?
I'm super fantastic. So you go right live. You don't do any sort of like, we'll talk a little bit or whatever before we start broadcasting. You just like put all that right on there.
Honestly, I didn't know that we could talk before.
Yeah, we could actually, like, if you put me into the stream and you put yourself into the stream, we could talk before you hit the broadcast, and then you could hit broadcast.
Schooled.
Yeah.
Hello, Tyler. Hello. Yes, you're first. Hello. So tonight, AC/DC, and I've just been listening to some of the tracks on my list.
Awesome.
Dude, I'm so glad you picked this theme. This is Kevin, everybody.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm excited that like other people actually want to be on the show on that, because I mean 2 weeks ago you had like a legitimate rock and roll band on with Stormfront, and then last week you had a doctor on, and now this week you're stuck with me. Like, so I was happy that like other people are coming on and are actually interested in doing the list, because I wasn't sure like how interesting the topic would be or anything. So I think
it's going to be cool. I'm all set. Thanks to Jen. She picked this up for me on her way home tonight.
I didn't even think of that. I wore a Sloan shirt. I should have worn. I have like 20 AC/DC shirts.
I'm so glad you wore Sloan tonight, because earlier in the week we were having a discussion and I named Sloan as a contender for possibly one of Canada's best bands competing with Rush. I am attracted to bands with 4 lead singers.
Yeah, and they have 4 lead everything. They just don't sing. Like, that's the amazing thing when you watch Sloan. Like, I had no idea who Sloan was before I met Sarah, and she got this album called Navy Blues, and I started listening to this. I'm like, Mike, this is the Beatles. This is like and something else. It's just so like, this is fantastic, and I liked so much. Then we went to see them. When we moved down to Barrie, went to see them at the Key to Bala, and I started watching them. I had no idea there was different lead singers. So they were singing, and then they all, like, the drummer gets up and starts playing on the bass starts playing on the guitar. Like, I was just like blown away. I had no idea that these guys did all that. It was such an experience. And you guys were talking about your best live shows and that experience, watching that definitely was in the top 5.
It was in my list. Pardon me a second. I just realized I may be short one piece of equipment that I thought I had with me.
No worries. I can entertain. Actually, it doesn't tell me how many people are listening or watching on my end. But my name is Kevin. You go check out my blog, buriedonmars.wordpress.com. I write a lot about movies and music.
I have 3.
Because you got to do an unboxing, right?
I have 3 Swiss Army knives, and I the one from this room is missing. So.
Well, before we get into it, can I just show you the thing that I brought? Because this is something I wanted to show you. Because I know that you and I both went to see these 2 bands during the same tour. And this, in fact, was my first, like, Weird Al was my first concert. But this was my first rock and roll show. Okay. And 2 of the bands went on to become 2 of my favorite all-time bands of all time, Motorhead and Black Sabbath. And I was actually looking for something. I was looking for my Calvin and Hobbes books, which I somehow threw away. I don't know how I did that, but I got rid of them. But while I was looking through it, while I was trying to find those, I actually kept the section from the Sudbury Star.
That's cool, man.
So in here is all, like, they wrote all about Lemmy and Motorhead, and I don't want to.
I hope Eric catches this. He's probably not up yet, but I hope he watches this from the start.
That's the Weird Al. I kept the Weird Al cutout too.
So not only did we see the same tour for Sabbath, but we also both cut out the article from the newspaper.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
I did.
Well, this was a whole section. I kept the whole section. Well, So they had like, there's Black Sabbath.
The whole section too. Sorry, I did keep the whole section because I had to scan it, and it had our paper had the exact same photograph, the stock photo.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, like when you read it, it's all Associated Press, so it's all like the same stuff going over. But they even had, so they had like what they reviewed like the upcoming albums, and there is a review of Forbidden on here, and I was surprised that it was like not a favorable review, considering like, Black Sabbath is like on the next page kind of thing.
It was such a disappointment to me personally, because I'd been boosting Sabbath all that time through the 90s.
Yeah, well, and that was like I was just getting into Black Sabbath. So my friend Frank and we had Black Sabbath the Aussie years, which was the first.
That's a cool box set.
It was. I still have it. I don't have the cardboard around it, but I have all the discs, and that was like, that was, I listened to that over and over again. But that's all I knew from Black Sabbath, just those first 6 albums. So when they were coming to town with Tony Martin, we were like, well, we should listen to some of his stuff. Well, of course you're going to get the new album. So we got Forbidden, and it was like, oh man. And I wish that we had got those earlier albums, because I would have appreciated that show so much more, especially if I, the Headless Cross, if I had that and knew those songs.
I had ordered that on an import. Like it wasn't available in this country at that time.
Yeah,
it is now either.
I was just watching that documentary that Deke was about the Crocs and Rolls in Thunder Bay. $5 at the door, and that's like the girl in that movie, like recording stuff off the radio and all that. And it's like, that struggle was real, man. It was like you could not hear this stuff. It wasn't going to be played on the radio station. You weren't going to hear what the latest Tony Martin track is, or even the latest Motorhead like, even though they were still a band and together and all that, like you just it was really a struggle to hear new music.
I was fortunate to be working in the record store, so when that album came out, I bought it first day, and I was undeniably disappointed, because I really liked the previous one, Headless Cross, genuinely.
Yeah.
And seeing them live with Motorhead was cool. My buddy Tom Morwood, big Motorhead fan, he kind of introduced me to Motorhead, and I bloody well love that song Sacrifice. And I believe that was the Sacrifice tour, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, no, 100% right.
I repeated the story more than once on this show, but I love when Lemmy introduced the title track from Sacrifice, and he says, "Don't fucking try to dance to this song, or you break both your fucking legs." Yeah. Like,
yeah,
it's the kind of thing I will quote that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But we got 10 minutes before we're going to bring in Deke, the other guy. So I want to real quick, we always do the drink sponsors. This is sort of a gimmick that I copied from Rob Daniels' show. Tonight we are drinking Nespresso. It is a double shot of Bianco something. And then for my cold beverage, it's just Sprite.
Nothing wrong with that. I just got a cup of English breakfast tea.
Oh, that's fine.
In a Tim Hortons mug.
But is it Tim Hortons breakfast tea?
No.
Okay.
No. I haven't been to Tim Hortons in forever. I haven't like if I'm on the road, which obviously I haven't been in a very long time, then I'll stop in there, but very rarely go there anymore.
I just got a text message. I'm not 100% sure who it's from. I don't recognize the number, but I'm guessing it's Aaron. Oh no, it's Meat. It's Meat. Internet is down wherever he is.
Oh,
so he might have to catch up with us. Anyway, the unboxings.
Yeah,
the unboxing. So I have 2 here. I'm going to save the Svengali for last, because it's probably the coolest. Just Amazon.
This is something you ordered from Amazon.
Something I ordered from Amazon. I've been collecting these. I've expanded my collection. I shouldn't say expanded, because Transformers, I haven't been buying them anymore. They're just too darn fussy and for the money you pay, fragile. So I've been buying more fun things this year, like my Marvel Legends figures.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also discovered these reaction fig. Oh no!
They sent you the wrong one.
No, it came loose off the card, but I was going to open it anyway.
Oh, okay.
So it's just kind of disappointing that he's not mounted on the card, but it's the damaged T1000.
Oh, that's like an original, or is that a reissue?
These are new figures, but what they've done is they've done them in the style of the classic Kenner. 5 points of articulation.
Love that.
Not a heck of a lot of detail. Very much like the old Star Wars Kenner figures, but this is the damaged version of the T1000, as you can see.
That's cool.
It says that this is exclusive to Entertainment Earth, apparently. You can even see the card is very Star Warsy with the that's neat. On the back, it shows 5 other figures from the line that you can get. You get the T1000 as the Highway Patrolman, T1000 not damaged, the T800 Arnie, and of course the Connor family.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool.
It is cool. I'm a little disappointed that it opened up and I didn't open it myself, but whatever. T1000 damaged. So I've got a small collection of these, mostly Transformers, but I do have the Alien from Aliens.
Yeah, those are cool too.
Yeah. And I also have Papa Emeritus from Ghost.
What about those He-Man reissues? Are you tempted at all to grab those?
Let's not get into He-Man because if I do, I'm going to go on a rant. My good buddy Jason collects He-Man, and I'm constantly getting on his case about buying those damn He-Man figures. I'm actually, I have something on my wall here that he gave me. It's a original production sketch of Orko. There we go.
Oh yeah, okay.
He gave that to me. He won it in an auction. He won
Cool.
a bunch of them in an auction. All right, this one's going to be a stabber. I don't know what Svengali have sent me. This is from Svengali, the band, I should say.
Nice.
I won a contest on their Facebook page.
Okay.
And there's some goodies in here. Looks like a copy of the CD.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. This is now my second copy. So
I was going to say you probably already have it.
I think I might spin this off into a giveaway on my own site.
All right.
Or just give it to one of you guys. Oh, that's cool. Svengali neck chain with a pick.
Nice.
And this pick is their guitar player, Dee Cernil, died of cancer many years ago. And this is it says Peace, Dee Dee. And then on the back is the Svengali Screaming Skull logo. I know this you can't see it all that well, but I'll do a better display on my website later on. And looks like we got neat. Signed glossy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And they just gave that all away on their website or Facebook page.
They were just doing giveaways, nobody could come to a show. They just came out with this new EP called 3. And I just played it again this week. I like it. I genuinely like this. Fully endorse the new Svengali EP 3. So named because it's their 3rd release. So yeah, there's the unboxing portion. Now, cool. Your job is going to be to talk for a little while I send the invites.
Okay. Geez, what should I talk about?
Breakfast.
Well, breakfast. What I had for breakfast? I had Shreddies for breakfast. I said I'm a big cereal guy. That's my thing. Yeah, I really can't eat the baking stuff in that because it has a lot of cholesterol in it, and I've been diagnosed with high cholesterol. So
I probably would be if I was if I'd seen my doctor in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Eric sent me a message. He's good to go.
Okay.
So here's the invite, and I've sent them to Deke. I've sent them to the other guy, Meat.
Aaron and Deke.
How are you sending invites? Asked Rob Daniels. I am just copying the link and sending them via private message and email. That's all. However, I will ask everyone to share this video. We cannot seem to do invites on Facebook Live the way that we used to. So share. Oh, there we go. Thank you. So share, everybody.
Did you did put it on Twitter earlier?
I did. Yes. But nobody reads my Twitter. So do you want to quickly talk about the theme of the evening that you've selected? Because it's going to be challenging for all of us.
Well, I I'll just admit right off the bat, I watch a YouTube channel called Sea of Tranquility. And the guy has like a lot of high profile guys on it all the time. And they were talking, I think it was him and Marty Popoff. Is that how you say his name?
Marty Popoff, yeah.
Yeah. He had him on. They were talking about their favorite AC/DC songs that weren't big hits. You know, like what are the deep cuts in that? And I thought that'd be a fun show to do with Mike. So I sent that over to him, and that's basically what we'll be doing. I could talk about how I came about my list because I did it in about 15 minutes, but I did put quite a bit of thought into it. First thing I did for my list is I threw out Back in Black and Highway to Hell, threw them out the window because I have a feeling that.
Okay, no, I'm not going to cut you off. Never mind.
I have a feeling that most people know those songs.
Yeah.
Better than like I feel that people know Touch Too Much better than something that was a single on another album, like Are You Ready or Put the Finger on You. You know, like I think that, you know, those songs are bigger than life. So I threw those out the window.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick songs that weren't on more than one album or were played live a lot. I stuck to just the studio albums. I didn't go into like box sets or anything like that. I wanted them to be on studio albums, even though if anyone else did it, I don't care, you know, whatever. This was just my list. Right.
Yeah.
And so everything's on an album. And then, so I picked the first two songs that came to my head. Those are number 1 and number 2. Then the rest are in order of where they fall on the album. Okay. So my number 11 and 10 are basically our number 2. They're number 2 songs on the album. And then, you know, you go 5, 8, 9, because the deeper you go, that's the deeper the cut.
Interesting. That is a method I had not considered.
I had to pare it down because I had about 50 songs written down, and I'm like, okay, I got to think like, you know, what is actually I wanted to pick stuff that is more likely not to be heard or heard in a different way or whatever. You know? Okay.
I think your list is probably going to be more challenging than mine. I'm going to say right off the bat, if anything here disqualify me, I'll pick a different track.
This was just for me. I want to hear what other people have picked. This was just for me, you know?
I kind of used Wikipedia as my guide. Any song that was a single, any song that had its own article on Wikipedia,
right? Yeah,
and of course a certain amount of instinct as well. But as I was listening to my list tonight, I'm like, man, a lot of people actually know that song. But we'll see. Then I had 3 songs that were always on my list from the first time you mentioned this idea. And I was committed to one of them, and then I looked it up, and it's like, oh my God, it was a single. But very obscure single in Australia only. So I am gonna say that I'm not disqualified on my one single.
I think that's okay because I technically have a single as well, but it was only a single in Australia. So we might have the same song.
It looks like we have a couple of new arrivals here. We have a single. Super Deeks, $5 a door. Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
Look at these entrances. They're definitely upstaging me.
On Aaron, I just sent him a second email just to make sure he got it. Boba Fett, how are you tonight?
This is my warning to you to stop arguing with Star Wars fans on Facebook. Especially one that has 5 of these!
For fuck's sakes.
5 of these!
I know who you're referring to.
Yes!
And
just stop.
That person needs to chillax and allow me to rant and wait just a few months for me to write my official review, and then he sees how I've digested all of this information over the few months. Is what he.
How about you? How about this? How about you wait a few months until you see the fucking show before you review it?
Nope.
How about that?
Nope.
Well, then that's not very good journalism. Is all I can tell you.
Hang on. Here we go.
Boba Fett says
that one right there.
Fucking guy.
Oh shit! I forgot there was one other thing I was going to show off.
Thanks, how are you guys? You guys doing good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
Right on.
Good. Deke, how are you?
I'm good, man.
And Kevin, I don't think we've ever really kind of met, but hello.
This is the first time I've spoken with any of you, actually.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've done the chat and all that, but
we did that one where we had 6.
Oh, that's right. That's right. With Aaron, that's right.
Right. Yeah. Who I'm still waiting for. Michael Lefevre's book arrived. If you guys remember, at the beginning of the summer, somebody stole my copy of this book. I was a victim of mail theft, but he kindly, out of his own pocket, sent me a second copy. And this one arrived intact. So this is Rock and Roll Children, an account of heavy metal in the 1980s by Michael D. Lefevre, as who you know as 80s Metal Man.
Oh, nice.
I'm very excited to read this. It's a hefty book. This is like a pop-off width kind of book here. I'm very excited to finally have a copy of his book. I've waited a long time. I ordered a copy off Amazon years ago, and took them a while, and they finally canceled. Well,
so Kevin,
look who it
Kevin,
is.
Kevin, I heard you talking earlier, Kevin.
Yes.
And that Pete Pardo guy, man, I watch him every day.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Those are great.
Yeah.
There's tons of things, ideas we could steal from that show and put it in.
Oh, absolutely, without question. I purposely did not pick, I think, any of the songs that either him or Popoff picked in that show.
I stopped watching it. Like after I got the idea, like I didn't want my list to be corrupted by them. So I haven't watched that video yet.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just going to quickly do the introductions. Now that everybody is here, I'm going to quickly do the introductions. Welcome. We've picked a name. The name of the show is now the LeBrain Train, which was my wife's suggestion.
Great name.
2,000 words or more with Mike Ladano, which was Mitch LaFon's suggestion. So I put them together. It's one name, or you can just call it the LeBrain Train. And I'm your host, LeBrain. I'm here with Kevin, Buried on Mars. You can get to his website there. He's got some pretty cool Zeppelin shit going down.
Yeah.
And then
my wife caught me gaming.
Further over, we have Super Deeks, and as you can see, he is actively promoting $5 at the door, the story of Crocs and Rolls, which if the top 3 guys on this page have all reviewed it.
That's right.
And it's glowing reviews across the board. So you've got 2 more days to see Crocs and Rolls, $5 at the door. You got
for free.
For free.
Yep. Free. 80 minutes. It's a documentary about a legendary Canadian club up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, that most of us actually have never heard of, but the bands sure know it. And you're going to hear great stories, and you're going to see some great bands. So check it out. $5 at the door, the story of Crocs and Rolls. Deke, I'm sure you're going to be plugging that tonight. And God bless you. Keep doing it. Keep rocking.
All I got to say is, I've been talking to Frank quite a bit lately, the last week, ever since you guys got on board with the posting your own reviews of it, which Frank and Kristen, who are the director of the movie, totally appreciated. So Frank's just totally blown away by the support, like the whole WordPress group. As Aaron says, it's
community,
right?
This guy right here.
Yeah, and like I told Frank, I said, when it comes to my pals in the blog sphere, if I'm on the fence about buying an album or whatever, I take their word at face value because they're fans. They paid for it. It's not some Rolling Stone hack who's getting it for free and can say either yay or nay.
Genuine.
You guys. And so you know what? He's probably been very appreciative of all the support, and it's been really, really cool. He's kind of I can't give away anything right now, but he's kind of looking at some ideas at where the film, and him and Kristen, where the film's going to go now. So I'll keep you all posted.
Right on. Okay, working our way clockwise, we got Uncle Meat, otherwise known sometimes as Eric. I want to single out Meat tonight real quick because I should have said this last time. I started live streaming in March. I did like 3 pretty good ones, and then I ran out of gas. I was going to stop, but Meat kept pestering me to do more lists. He's like, you got to do lists. And I said, I don't like lists. But one day he just got me and he said, we're going to do something called a Nigel Tufnell Top 10. Do you get it? And I'm like, what's that mean? He's like, well, it's 11, but we call it 10 because it's Nigel Tufnell. I'm like, okay, cool. So let's do Nigel Tufnell Top 10 Kiss albums. So we did that Saturday, and we had lists from all over the place. HMO submitted a list. I believe Deke must have. And it was great. We had so much fun with it. And really, if Meat did not suggest the Nigel Tufnell top 10 list, we would not be doing this tonight. I would have given this up 4.5 months ago. So write down, if you want to give that guy, you want to give him one of these right down there.
Yeah, thank you all. And I want to say, I want to say that all the people on the screen here have music websites other than me. Yeah. I have a website, but no one wants to go there. Trust me, for many reasons. So
that sounds like a challenge.
That may be the case, Eric, but you are also the only one of the 5 here that has your writing credit on a CD.
What?
Oh, one of the 5 here with
yeah,
writing credit on a CD. Oh, look at that!
I have that too.
I gotta say, I was gonna save this for the end of the show, but I might as well say it now because the timing's right. Eric, this got me through some really tough times. Really? I tell you, so Mike sent this to me in December of 2018, and just a bunch of crap in my life. I'm going to get emotional thinking about it, but it was just crazy. It was just a bunch of crap. And January rolls around. It's dark. I'm working evening shifts. Like, I'm getting up in the dark. I'm going to bed in the dark, and it's just really depressing me and all that. And I just dove into this album, and I listened to it over and over again. And I mean, like it just thinking about the album and just diving into everything and to do the review and all that, it just took my mind off of all the garbage. And I just got to thank you for this album. I really like it.
I appreciate the kind words. I mean, it was fun to make it. I'm glad that you said so. There's a small part of me that isn't glad that you said so, because I know Mike Kudus is watching, who is Max Diak, and you know what? He just doesn't need a bigger ego.
Well, yeah, I think you guys hit it out of the park, and I really appreciate. I just appreciate this album so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that you like it. So, I mean, if that got you through some things, that must have been some really tough times.
They were. And,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
well said, Kev. Well said.
I will say that to a lesser degree, I've certainly been picked up when I'm down by that album.
Well, thank you.
That's it. I wish I could have said that. It picked me up, you know.
And I've said this before. I've told this story before, but last summer I was driving around with my dad in the car, and we were playing Status Electric in the car, and he's like, "Who's this singing?" I said, "This is my friend Eric." And he goes, "Your friend Eric's a good singer." And that's coming from my dad.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And moving on.
Just introduce Aaron, for fuck's sake.
Aaron Lefevre, otherwise known as Mr. Books.
Salut, bonjour.
And really the cornerstone of the WordPress community, because he's the guy who just kind of united us all through the Canadian Postal Service with parcels of joy.
I find stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not so much lately.
Well, you saw the one live stream that I was doing on Kiss, and then I fucking unboxed your fucking Kiss Ugly Dolls that day. Like, that was insane that happened.
For the record, that was, and pun intended, for the record, that was not planned.
Not at all. I had no way of knowing.
I had no idea you were doing that.
Yeah, we didn't. No communication.
So I would like to third the love for Max the Axe.
Look. What's
going on?
And see there, I'm so proud.
It should be.
I would also like to point out that this is the first live stream I've been on with you, Mike, where there hasn't been the little LeBrain thing in the corner, and now you guys can see the Dio album too.
Oh no, it's in the corner. It's just that
okay, so it's only on mine.
I put baby in the corner.
And also to Kevin and his lovely wife, I am waiting until the end of your Zeppelin series. I'm going to read them all in a row.
Okay, sure.
I was tempted to start, but then I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to wait. So there'll be a blast eventually here.
anyone who reads it, it's just icing on the cake. We just do it for fun, and I appreciate anyone who reads it.
More support. That's coming from Australia.
Yeah.
So Mike Kudis, that's right there. That comment's coming from Australia. Without further ado, let's get down with this AC/DC list. Kevin and I were discussing some of our criteria that we use to narrow down these deep cuts, and I will say right off the bat that if I'm disqualified on any of these songs, just let me know. I've got a backup tune or two ready. I may be disqualified on at least one, but we'll see. I shall begin. And let's go clockwise.
Okay, Mike, do you have other lists from?
No, just
okay.
I figured.
Good question.
Can I just make a
this is going to be a long night. And also, I just want to say we've never done 5 before. When we did 4 people, it went 3.5 hours. So maybe we should try to be succinct in our comments, as I verbosely have introduced this show over the last 20 minutes.
Well, there goes my impersonation of that dude from The Matrix with all the big words.
Well, I'm going to begin. And I'm going to begin with the song that I was telling Kevin earlier I discovered is actually a single. But I don't think I'm going to get disqualified for picking. And I'm being sincere here. I do love this song. Love Song.
Oh.
Otherwise known as Oh Gene, from the Australian version of High Voltage.
Oh.
It was a single in Australia, but nobody watching this has heard that song.
I don't have any Australian versions.
It's also a Backtracks box set, which is where I got it.
It's a different a different song.
All the only AC/DC ballad, and I genuinely love it. It's different. It's very different for AC/DC.
Very.
It sounds like, I don't know, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I'm not sure, with electric guitars. Okay, over to you, buddy.
For my number 11, I went with number 2 on TNT in Australia, but it was song number 2 on the High Voltage compilation. I went with Rock and Roll Singer. I think that is a fantastic song. It's a fantastic riff. For some reason, they don't play it live anymore. It's not on any of the compilations. Every time it comes on, I dig it. But at the end of the day, the Cult had a hit with it with Wildflower. So,
I never put that together.
Oh yeah, it's the same riff. It goes off in a little different direction.
I can hear it in my head.
It's the same riff. Totally.
I can't hear it any differently now.
I don't know why AC/DC never sued them, but I mean, it does go off in a little different direction after that main part. But I think that's a fantastic song that they should bring back and play it live.
I think bands like AC/DC were just happy the Cult were being successful with a rock and roll sound.
Probably. I mean, it was Cult and them in 1988 on MTV. That was pretty much it, right?
All right, Super.
I think in a lot of cases that I don't think AC/DC could really sue anybody, because they'd probably have to sue themselves.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Them too.
Yeah, Chuck Berry and Little Richard. Yeah.
Sue themselves for making the same record 14 times over.
We might be picking the same song 11 times over. Harrison Kopp, real quick, is a big fan of Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? It could be on the list, buddy. We don't know yet. I'm not sure about comparing it to Tarot Woman by Rainbow, though. Anyway, over to you, Super Deeks.
Okay, boys, here's what we're doing.
Okay.
I've always been a Canadian AC/DC fan. I didn't buy the imports. I didn't dig deep like you boys did. I was just domesticated with whatever they shoved out in Canada. I bought. My buddy Muck, on the other hand, he bought all that stuff, so I kind of heard it. But no, I just bought whatever was on the shelves at the record stores here in Thunder Bay. So my number 11 is Nick of Time, Blow Up Your Video. Now everybody's saying, oh, blow up your video. But listen to that pattern of AC/DC in that song, Nick of Time. Simon Wright, he's not drumming like Phil Rudd. He's throwing in some time changes. And that song always stuck a pretty cool groove, because it was kind of outside their box. And they were even playing it live on that tour. So, yeah, man, that's my pick.
I guarantee you we're going to be hearing more from that album tonight. Okay, over to you, Meat Man.
Okay. I heard Kevin say earlier that that he totally took out Back in Black and Highway to Hell, and well, if I did that, I probably wouldn't have a list. So, basically, okay, I got a question for you because I looked this up. An article published yesterday in Business Insider has Back in Black as the 4th best-selling album of all time at 25 million. Can anyone name the 3 that are ahead of it?
Thriller.
Eagles greatest hits, right?
Jackson Thriller.
Thriller and Eagles greatest hits are 1 and 2. Supposedly number 1 is the Eagles. I've seen other lists where it's transposed. Number 3 is also the Eagles with Hotel California.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah. And then it's number 4 at 25 million copies. So I don't know if you can really say there's a deep track on an album that sold that many copies, but my number 11 is going to be Let Me Put My Love Into You. I think the song kind of stands out on the album as like a kind of a deeper song. I don't really know if it's deeper lyrically, but
deeper somewhere.
But yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's my number 11, and that's how I'll start it off.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Okay, these are the books.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I had a couple of rules. Again, I didn't put anything in any order because I don't have any hair to pull out, so I didn't even try. I don't put things in order. I don't rank things like that.
I'm cool with that, man. That's your shtick now, man.
It's not a shtick. I can't do that to myself.
Fine by me.
Also, I only have the studio stuff. I don't have anything rare. I don't have anything Australian. And I also do not own Rock or Bust.
Interesting. Okay.
It's on my list for whenever I can get out into the wild again. Yeah. And I'm sure I'll find a cheap copy somewhere, but I don't own it. So if there's something on there, it's not on my list. Also, it was interesting when I did this. The mood I was in when I was listening made me pick a lot of faster songs and over the sort of the bluesy or groovy stuff. So if I made this list tomorrow, it would all be different. But when I was making the list, this is what it was. So, and not in any order, I went straight to the Razor's Edge. And I got to give it up for the song that I crank my car stereo every time, Shot of Love.
Nice. It's a good song.
Let's go, boys. I love that song.
First song side 2, I think, maybe?
Sure. Whenever it comes on, the volume goes up.
Good song.
Oh, yeah.
Back to me with Deke's album, Blow Up Your Video.
Right.
I had a couple favorite songs in that album, but I went with Rough Stuff. I liked Rough Stuff when the album came out, and I played it again today. I was telling Kevin earlier, I was playing AC/DC on the headphones, and when you get that separation of the guitars in your left and right ears on the headphones, it's really something else. So I highly recommend everybody check out AC/DC on headphones tonight. So Rough Stuff from Blow Up Your Video. It's a nice. Mid-tempo, good time rock and roller. Over to you.
I agree. Rough Stuff is on my. I don't know if I should say it. I won't say it.
Well, maybe
my honorable mentions. Can I say that? It's on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Okay,
of course.
So my number 10 is "Love at First Feel" from Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. And I picked that song because it only came out on the international version. It didn't come out. It was only a single in Australia. That was the single song that I was thinking of. And I picked this song because I'm not a huge fan of the international version of Dirty Deeds. I'm a purist. I like the Australian version better. But there's one thing that they did nice was they put Dirty Deeds first, the song Dirty Deeds, and then they put Love at First Feel as the second song. What's that?
The Meat's got an airplane going over it.
Or I think the motorcycle gang is coming. They're showing up to pick up their stuff or something. Who knows?
It's the wind.
So if you listen to Dirty Deeds and Love at First Feel back to back, Love at First Feel almost starts like a parody of Dirty Deeds with the drums and the guitar and everything, but it's a little more jovial, and then it just shifts that groove into that more rockin' groove. But yeah, it was number 2 on the album, so that's why it's lower on the list. And I think it's a fun song that doesn't get played very much. I don't think they've ever played it live.
Lightning bolts from my fingertips. Ow! With first. I love it. I love it. All right, Super Deeks.
My number 10 is COD. Side 2 for those about to rock.
Yeah.
Love that tune. It's like that album, Those About to Rock. I mean, some days I think it's the second best Johnson album after Flick of the Switch. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty polished up. Yep. It's back and back, sides 3 and 4. Yep. COD is nothing wrong with it. Just, Johnson and it's just a great tempo tune, man. I love that kind of boogie rock when they and the drums are so crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Kudos to Mutt Lang on that one. So
Indeed. Me, eh?
There we go.
That is a great pick. At number 10, I also have COD from the For Those Who Got the Rock album.
It's like a hive mind.
Can't really add more than what Deke added. The song is Care of the Devil, and we all benefit from it. Off to Aaron.
Okay. I'm going to give you one that's already been said. I went to High Voltage Rock and Roll Singer.
Nice.
Wow.
Great song.
Yep.
So that's twice.
I was going through stuff, and I'm like, yep, that's one. No problem. Throw it on.
I just got a message saying, "What the fuck is Meat doing?"
Oh, I'm moving back. I'm moving around. I'm still in witness protection, apparently.
That's okay. I'm in witless protection, so it's all good.
Wow. You just proved that you're not witless by saying the line. So it
was ironic statement.
Yeah, it is very. Okay.
Are we back to me now?
Yep.
I think we are.
Interestingly, I'm finding I'm going to a lot of albums that I didn't necessarily like the album, but there's a lot of good deep cuts. Ball Breaker from Ball Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
That song kicks ass. I think it's the best song on that album.
Easy.
And that was also the return of Phil Rudd on drums too, by Chris Slade. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
Over to you.
I was considering Ball Breaker, but I also didn't pick any. For some reason, I didn't pick any songs that were also the album title. For some reason, I crossed that off, and I also only picked one song from each album too, because, like I said, the only reason I gave myself these restrictions was because I would have had 50 songs, so I had to pare it down. So, anyways, my number 9 is Landslide from Flick of the Switch. I absolutely love that song. I love Brian Johnson's little intro to it. It sounds ad-lib. I don't know if it is. It's actually, I 100% agree with Martin Popoff's book where he was talking about how Flick of the Switch is actually in reverse order, like side A and B are flipped around, and Landslide sounds like it's supposed to be the album ender, because it kind of starts off like Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution with that slow intro, but then it just kind of takes off like in that other different direction. But yeah, it's just a great rockin' tune, and I love it. So that's my
great song,
number 9, and it's only number 9 because it was number 5 on the album, so I put it further down the list.
Okay, Super Deep.
All right, mine is also from the Flick of the Switch album. Nervous Shakedown.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what, Deke? The only reason I didn't pick that one, I remember there was a video on Much Music for it. I have it on a VHS, and that's the only reason I didn't pick it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Didn't even know there was a video for it, pal. So all good under my hood.
That's also what she said.
Man, that really sounds like an AC/DC song title. If you tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn now?
You got her.
Okay. Number 9 is from Highway to Hell, and I am a little privy to songs that I have jammed, and this song I have played drums to, and it is not easy. Like a lot of people think, oh, it's AC/DC, it's easy. It's really hard to be that disciplined and not put in little fills and not do this. And and this is actually one of the harder ones. It's a beating around the bush, which we did a. I mean, the band I drum in is an instrumental band, and we tried to do an instrumental version. We never actually played it live because we just couldn't get it together. The song is great, though. It's very unorthodox song. I think it's very different than anything on the album. Yeah, that's my number 9.
We'll come back to this. We will. Okay, most
Okay, so for my next one, Uncle Meat Stole It. Highway to Hell, beating around the bush. No lie.
Wow, we're doing a lot of this. It's crazy.
Lie. It's right there. So what he said.
There you go.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Well, on to number 8. I feel like, did somebody pick You Ain't Got a Hold on Me? I feel like somebody did. No? All right.
Not at this point.
74 Jailbreak. I wanted to pick 174 Jailbreak song because that EP is just awesome. And, aside from the title track and maybe Baby Please Don't Go, then those songs are kind of lesser known. They're not really widely known. So, yeah, You Ain't Got a Hold on Me.
No, it's definitely a deep cut for sure. My number 8 is Overdose from Let There Be Rock.
Man, great pick.
Slow, like it's a little slower tempo song for them.
Great song.
And for some reason, they never played it live. Never once. It's got such a good groove and good lyrics. I don't know. I don't know why they never played it live. But yeah, that's one that always comes on. I turn it up just a little bit more.
I think one of the reasons that they might not have ever played that live is that there's just so many other great songs on that album.
Yeah,
would bands weren't playing full albums live.
AC/DC never will. They never will.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They could play the same riff for 3 hours and people would still love them.
They do.
To be fair, some of those Angus Young guitar solos, like they go for 10 minutes. Basically Malcolm's just playing the same lick behind him, and Angus is going off for 10 minutes, and it's almost trance-like. It's very, very cool.
He's a very good blues guitarist, and that song Overdose has a really good blues guitar solo in it. So does Ride On. Yeah. There's a few other of them, and I don't know. I don't know why they just never played it live, but yeah, they got too many good songs, I guess. Like Meat says.
Yeah.
All right.
They could play Wildflower for 3 hours and everybody would still think
they wouldn't know the difference.
Okay, boys, my number 8 is now you guys remember the very first time you guys heard Flick of the Switch out, or no, sorry, Fly on the Wall album?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, when it came out, me and T-Bone raced down and bought it. I bought it on vinyl. He had his car at the time. He bought it on cassette. I remember when we plunked it in his car on the drive home, we were like, what the hell's Brian Johnson singing?
Yeah. No lyric sheet.
What? I'm like, where did Mutt Lang go? But anyways, once you got home and got into that record, you know what? There's some pretty good tracks on there. So I'm going with Playing with Girls.
Love that song.
Dude, yeah. You know what? That's a great tune. It's just driving AC/DC. And I swear to God, you can hear the feedback in the studio on like the guitars or something, man. Like it's a cranking tune. Like you guys talk about, like Aaron said, Shot of Love he cranks up. Playing with Girls, man. Great song. So
that's an album that did not make my list. Spoiler alert. And the only reason is because I felt like all the good songs were in that AC/DC Fly on the Wall video that I feel like Much Music played all the time.
Mm.
But Playing with Girls was only the end credits of it. So really, I screwed that one up. I should have picked Playing with Girls. Okay, Meat Man.
Okay, number 8 we're at, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
8. Number 8 is from A Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, which is an album that I had on vinyl. I remember getting it right after Back in Black, and actually I saw on that Pete Putter video with Martin Popoff, they pointed out, and it's very true, that Back in Black comes out, goes gangbusters, So the record company does something very smart. That's when Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap was released.
Yeah, it was
what?
It was initially rejected by the American record company. That's why they could release it in 81.
Well, because of the timing of the release, it is their third best-selling album of all time, behind Back in Black and Highway to Hell, which a lot of people would never believe, but it's timing. So the song on there is Rocker.
Yeah.
And I love the song as it is what it is. It's a rocker, and it's like Little Richard with a leather jacket on, and jeans. Yeah. And I love the fake ending, because the song, with about a minute and something left, you think the song is over, and then it just keeps going. It's a great song.
Some of my favorite ones got lyrics are in Rocker. I'm a rocker, I'm a roller, I'm a right out of controller, I'm a cruiser, I'm a wicked woman stealer. Okay, Aaron, on to you.
Well, I can't do that justice. My next one, I'm going to Power Age.
Yeah.
And my favorite album by them.
Riff Raff.
Yeah.
Forget it. Riff Raff is like the best song.
Why was that not a single?
I don't know. They used to open their shows with it, and then they just dropped it for some reason. Yeah, like they're like, well, the live album that they, If You Want Blood, You Got It. It's the first song on If You Want Blood, You Got It.
They dropped it.
Awesome.
Yeah, they have not. I think they played. Maybe Axel got them to play it live. They played it live on VH1. I remember they did a VH1 thing where fans, like real fans, actually wrote in and got them to play songs that they never played before, and Riff Raff was one of them. That's it.
Cool.
Great tune.
All right, I guess we're back to me. Mm-hmm. Number 7. Meat for his number 8, I believe, picked Beating Around the Bush. And then Monsieur Livre also picked Beating Around the Bush. Now I'm picking Backseat Confidential, which is an early version of Beating Around the Bush. And this one's available on the Bonfire box set. And the reason I picked this one is I just have a preference for the chorus. Backseat Confidential.
Well, the intro on that version is just phenomenal. I remember somebody when I was in college, like, oh, Angus isn't that good of a guitar player. And I played them that, and they were like, okay. Yeah. It's just phenomenal.
The way that he, like we were saying earlier with these 10-minute solos, the way that he just kind of trances out and just wails on that guitar, it's very musical. It's very musical, and it's all from the instinct.
Yeah, well, it's his vibrato too. Like, you think it sounds like it's something that anybody can do, but anybody can't do it. It's got that special something. It's like B.B. King, just got that vibrato that is special.
I just got some support.
There we go.
Support.
Yeah, I think
I heard it said once that once Angus Young was done with a concert, that guitar needs a cigarette.
I've heard that.
That's a good line.
Like 10 pounds in sweat.
Yeah,
something ridiculous like that. Okay, so Kevin.
Well, I got a few things to say because I can't shut up. The Backseat Confidential is a great example of Angus and Malcolm bringing in lyrics to Bon Scott, and Bon Scott changing them for the album and making them. I mean, Backseat Confidential is kind of I don't know, it's an okay lyric, but Beating Around the Bush is.
Beating Around the Bush has that sly.
Yeah.
Wing,
for sure. I mean, musically, I do like Backseat Confidential later, but the lyrics are better with. And some people say that they ripped off that song from Fleetwood Mac's. I think it's "Oh My" or something like that. Oh well, that's the one that
I hear a similarity.
There's similarity, but
blues.
Everybody
ripped off everybody in the Mississippi Blues Delta. It's just the way.
Exactly. So I don't know. Anyways, okay. So how about some? I think this might be the newest song on the list so far. It has to be because it's from their latest album, and no one's mentioned "Baptism by Fire." That's my number 7 from Rock or Bust.
Trying to remember it.
So yeah, I mean, Rock or Bust is an album that I didn't really appreciate when I first listened to it, but it somehow ended up on my phone, and for maybe a month or two, I was going to the gym for some reason, and it was like the only, I kept forgetting to update the music on my phone, so I just listened to Rock or Bust over and over again, and I really appreciated the album. So I recommend to everybody to go back and listen to the album again, and at least give Baptism by Fire a try, because it's got a really nice rockin' riff.
That's the only one I don't own.
Yeah.
Well, get on it, Aaron. Come on.
As soon as I'm allowed to go somewhere, I will.
Yeah, I hear you. Cases are going up, so yeah.
Maybe now's a good time for me to announce that, hey, I just subscribed to StreamYard for a year.
Oh, did you?
Because I think we're in this for the long haul, boys.
We are.
We're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, well, I'll be here.
Nights are going to be kind of dry for this upcoming winter season. But over to you, Super Deeks.
First of all, I got to say that the five of us on here, it's a pretty cool idea. What's even cooler is we got like the one and only Mr. YouTube himself in the middle with that professional setup. Mr. Barry.
Yeah, he looks pretty sharp, I got to say.
You know what?
Aaron both.
We just
Aaron both. They're making us look like a bunch of schmucks.
Anybody that's out there watching us right now, the street cred has just gone up.
Yeah.
100%, man. So,
I do have one thing. I do have this.
There. Boba Fett.
Oh, I got that too. That's good too.
Oh, cool.
Hey. So how am I? I'm not. These are just my guitar amps. That's not a big deal.
That looks nice.
It's better than lighthouses.
I love, if you ever redo that room, you have to keep that border.
Yeah, I don't think I ever will.
And then frame it.
I don't think I ever will.
Because those
I think I have something from The Shining behind me. So but all I got.
It looks like you have a halo, actually.
It does.
Yeah, it sure does. All right.
Sorry, Super Deeks.
okay, so
Yeah,
my number 7 has already been picked, and that is Rock and Roll Singer from High Voltage.
Wow. Okay, how many times has that been now? 3?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
3.
Okay.
You know what? It was great. I mean, when I first remember hearing that, I think after Back in Black, that was probably the third after Back in Black. Let There Be Rock was the second AC/DC record I heard way back when. And then I think it was High Voltage. And I remember hearing those lyrics that Bon Scott wrote for Rock and Roll Singer. I thought, is this dude writing his autobiography in 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Think about it. It was very well done. It's a great tune. I'm not really going to add anything that's already been said, but yeah, great track. So, Meat.
We have a question directed towards Uncle Meat. He wants to know if you're going to be going outside soon.
Yeah, I might be going outside soon. What's it to you? God damn it.
I like it. I like Meat's freedom. He can do whatever he wants. I'm chained to this desk.
I've got freedom. I'm not wearing pants, and it doesn't matter.
You know what, Kevin? Okay. I like my meat-free range.
There you go. Jesus. Okay, I will say that that's 3 times for Rock and Roll Singer, and that Pete Pardo, his first pick was Rock and Roll Singer, so this seems to be a theme here.
Yeah, well.
My number 7 has also been already picked.
Okay.
And it is from the Flick of the Switch album. It is Landslide, which
nice.
I love the song. And I agree with you that the beginning, if it's not ad-libbed, it sounds like it. And that's hard to do if you didn't, you know, if it was unintentional, it's a very cool beginning to the song. The whole song is great. So, yeah. There you go. And that is, by the way, my latest song. Like, that is like the most recent song by AC/DC that I have picked.
Wow.
So that'll tell you something.
Let's flick of the switch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Pressure's on you, Mr. Books.
No pressure. It's all good. That Meat going outside thing reminded me of a very quick Tom Waits story. Right at the height of his fame, when he was like 1999, Mule Variations and all that, big in Japan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he bought this farm way out in the middle of the country somewhere, and they said to him, why aren't you in the city where you have access to everything going on, and you know, like you can be doing all of these extra things and you're in the middle of it, why are you way out there? And he says, well, I like to pee outside. I just thought that was awesome.
So do I.
Well,
I'll confess to something real quick. When I'm at the cottage, I try to conserve the water.
There you go.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, so my next one, I'm going to, for those about to rock, We Salute You. And it was gonna be, oh God, did I ever go back and forth? It was gonna be Night of the Long Knives. It was gonna be, but it had to be Put the Finger on You. I do like that song. I like them both. So if I can pick them both, I'll give you a twofer.
We'll call it a tie.
There you go.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on number 6 now.
Yep.
My only Highway to Hell entry is Love Hungry Man.
The one that Angus apparently hates for some reason. Apparently, he doesn't like that
Really?
one. Yeah,
Sorry, Angus.
I like it too.
Odd.
Jeez.
That's odd.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to apologize to Angus and throw it over to you.
Okay, well, still sticking with the newer stuff. I went with off the Black Ice album, Wheels.
Wow.
I really like the Black Ice album. It is a little too long, but I think there's a lot of really good tracks on it, and Wheels is one of my favorites that I turn up.
Given us now, or at least you've given me 2 of the more recent tracks I don't remember at all. So I'll have to.
Yeah, go back and listen to it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Super Deeks looks really relaxed.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were asleep.
Time to chill. So,
I'm jealous.
hey,
I'm jealous of your comfort.
hey, true story. I'm not even home right now.
Really?
Oh,
He's relaxed on somebody else's couch.
yeah.
Did you just walk into someone's house and say, "I got a podcast to do"?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can I
Are
use
you even wearing pants?
So the deal is, our neighbors went to Chile January 1st of this year, and they're still stuck in Chile.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Jeez.
no.
Jeez.
They're supposed to come back April 1st. Yeah, so they're hopefully
Oh.
back in a couple of weeks. So I've been
Yeah.
doing on stream here because I check on their house, and I thought, hey, set up shop.
Nice.
At least they can,
They better hurry up and get here.
they can log in and see that their house is in good shape anyway.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah. So anyways, kind of a shit there. So that's the story behind the comfy chair. Not my comfy chair. Just keeping it
Warm.
Keeping it warm. Anyways, boys, I think this song was picked, and that is Overdose.
Yeah.
Let There Be Rock. And the thing I really
Yeah.
like about that tune is when I heard it, like I said, second album I ever heard by AC/DC. And I thought, did they just flub that beginning of the tune? And then
Yeah.
and I thought, okay, the bands I was listening to at the time, Kiss, Cheap Trick, Queen, and a couple others, didn't do that kind of stuff on their records. So to me, it's like, okay, these guys at a very young age, you knew they just plugged in and they just let it rip. And, that's the kind of stuff that I really gravitate to. So when I was throwing this list down, I thought, yeah, I just like those live off the floor tunes. And, they did that to perfection. So off to you, Uncle Meat, and going back into the recliner position.
Yep.
Yes, you will. All right. From my number 6 is also from the Let There Be Rock album. And it is the other song that I've had the pleasure to play live. And we did actually play this one live 12, 13 years ago when I was singing in a different band. Bad Boy Boogie is one of my favorite songs by AC/DC. And I'm going to tell you right now, like, there's something about singing Bon Scott. His voice is naturally high. Like, he's not even putting effort into it. And for me, it was like, holy cow, this is right at the very top of what I can do. So half the times it was great, and half the times it was not great. So, but a lot of fun to play live. And
Yes.
and I will say too about the 10-minute guitar solo. In a live version that I've seen from that, which I think is from the Let There Be Rock movie that was out, the solo, I think the first minute and a half is one note, but it doesn't matter because it's just cool as fuck. Like, that kind of defines his guitar playing. Just amazing.
Yeah, I think he would do the striptease to that song.
And that's right.
And that song is like it is really fun to play on the guitar. There's something about it, just the way it bounces, all the chords bounce. It's a really fun song to play, and I think that's why they played it a lot back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Lefevre. Wait, with this way. There we go.
Yeah, I'm following Kevin onto Black Ice, and I'm going to give you War Machine.
No, I love that song.
Good one.
I love it.
It's a great song. Yeah. Crank that one.
Was that in the Iron Man movie or only on the soundtrack CD? Does anybody know?
It's on the album.
It's definitely on the album. I don't know if it was in the movie.
I don't think so. I think that was in the movie.
Because there is a character War Machine, right?
Yeah,
that's Don Cheadle
on the soundtrack.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that, I don't think.
The Iron Man 2.
Well, maybe I did then. I haven't seen many of them.
I remember when it came out.
So I gave up, right? Like, I don't know.
When it came out, Meat and I did a sketch for Sausage Fest regarding the size of Don Cheadle's War Machine. Do you remember that, Meat?
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
Oh, shit. Number 5. Round 4 for Rock and Roll Singer. And
there we go.
To say about Rock and Roll Singer that hasn't been said. I'm glad to finally get that one off my chest. It feels good. Been holding it in all this time.
Holy cow!
Here's an interesting comment from Tyler. He never really saw guitar solos as a display of skill as a guitarist himself. He always found that how you play with your rhythm in unison. I feel like band synergy is far more display of skill. And that's, we're talking about AC/DC tonight.
That defines AC/DC.
That's a valid point. That's the entire foundation of AC/DC right there.
Malcolm Young is the rock and roll train.
You're raising your hand?
I have a question. What language is it where Dravenus Helsing is pronounced Tyler?
Oh. It's a good question. I
think it's code.
Okay. I was like,
his name is. I don't want to say Dravenus Helsing every damn time. So hey, that's Tyler.
Anyway, hi.
So I got nothing else to say about Rock and Roll Singer. So over to you, Kev. Kev. Did I just make a faux pas?
No, Kevin's fine. I like Kevin. All that stuff's good.
I've known Kevins before that really hated being called Kev.
No, that doesn't bother me. I tell you what I hate is big guy. I don't understand when people call me big guy.
All right,
forget I said that though.
Hey.
Or yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so the first song I have that's overlaps someone else is "Shot of Love." On the Razor's Edge. Absolutely love that song. Just a quick story about that song. My first car I had was a 1978 Buick LeSabre that came with only an AM radio, not even FM in it. So the first thing I did as a teenager was rip that sucker out and I put in my own cassette deck. But I wired the speakers wrong. So instead of them fading left to right, they faded back to front.
Oh no.
So as you were talking about having the headphones on with AC/DC and the guitars are split, well, the same thing would happen in the car. And I was driving along and with a bunch of buddies. And thanks, John T. Snow. I got some stuff about Game of Thrones to throw back at you if that starts. So I was driving along with a few of my buddies and a couple were in the back seat and that song comes on. And if you listen to that song, you know that Malcolm is just like, he's doing the Muddy Waters thing where it's like it's like a note that's just, and it stops, it's just like all those little stops in between every little chord that he plays. And they were complaining that the speakers in the back were cutting out, but it was just Malcolm stopping every time. So
awesome.
Anyways, great song.
Can somebody wake up Deke?
Oh, he's good back there.
Hey.
Oh, wait, it's his turn. You better wake up.
I'm sorry, but I find this so funny. Are you watching this on a big screen, Deke?
No, man, just on my computer. I'm just chillaxing, listening to the great AC/DC knowledge oozing out of everybody. So just taking her in, man.
Maybe Deke's in witness protection tonight. He's not even at the address, so maybe he is witness protection, Deke.
Are you using their Wi-Fi?
If I was to tell you, I'd have to kill you, brother.
No, I veto the question. Veto the question.
Anyways, number 5, Love at First Feel, Dirty Deeds.
There we go again.
First Feel.
Great track, man. After I think it was Kevin who said right after Dirty Deeds ends, bam, right into the 2 seconds later.
Yep.
Kick right into it. And you know what? Just gotta love that Bill Rudd bass drum. Man, it's so good. So yeah, it's just another killer track. So I'm just hoping that you boys don't steal my next 4 pick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Is it my turn? Oh yeah, Deke's done. He's lounging. Okay. It is interesting. I believe my next my from 5 to 1 that neither of them have been picked. I don't know if neither is the right word. None of them have been picked, including my number 5, which is also from Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap, and I believe. Don't quote me for sure. I'm pretty sure it was the B-side to the single of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, and I recall that because there used to be a really shitty bar in Kitchener called Capers that I've unfortunately played a couple times. The worst bathroom in the history of bathrooms. And they had a jukebox, and Ride On was on the jukebox because I think I played that song 8 times in a row, and they shut the jukebox off. So, obviously, I like the song. I think it's a bit of a departure for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, unquestionably.
It's kind of more of a mature song, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
I just find it to be like a very dark song, and just a great track. So yeah, that's my number 5.
I know.
Yeah, it's
too bad Scott Tuttle isn't watching tonight, but our mutual friend, his best friend Todd Meyer, he always said that's my favorite AC/DC song, and as a kid, I never understood it. I'm like, why? It's the slow one. But has anybody done Down Payment Blues or Overdose yet? Yes, we've seen Overdose twice, and I can't remember about Down Payment Blues.
Not yet.
Meat doesn't strike me as the sort of guy who'd be picky about the bathroom situation.
You don't know how right you are.
Oh,
you don't know how correct you really are.
Because Harrison made that comment, and because I was just reading this story last night, I'm just going to quickly go back to it. We were at the Spatula in Fletcherton, and after one hard night of Sausage Fest, and Meat comes out of the bathroom saying, "Don't use the stall on the left." Maxi Axe himself, the only AC/DC that he owns is a CD Maxi single released in '92. Wow, long cardboard with the long box still in package. That would be the live version of Highway to Hell. I have that one, but certainly not the long box. I've never seen it in long box.
No, me neither. I have it as well, but I don't have.
Yeah, it's essential to get that because those 3 tracks are not on AC/DC Live.
I think they're on backtracks now, though.
I believe you're right, but then you'd have to buy backtracks. Over to you, Monsieur Livre.
Sure. Okay, so this was another twofer, and since one was already said, I'll give you both, and you can pick what you like. I went to Dirty Deeds Done Cheap, and I had Rocker.
Yeah.
Because I love, as I said off the top, I was picking all the fast songs because that was the mood I was in, right? And that's what was hitting me. But I was torn right in half with Problem Child.
Mm.
I wanted that one too. So if
Great
Rocker's
song.
already been done, then take the Problem Child. And if anybody's listening and making a list so they can make an awesome CD for their car out of all the songs, then you should use both.
Yeah,
there you go.
For sure.
Good point.
I have a thought here, guys. I think if we do a mega list like this again with 5 of us or whatever, we got to invite Jeff Steven to make charts and graphs. And every once in a while I'd be checking with Jeff and be like, okay, Jeff, so how many tracks do we have from Back in Black? Okay. And then at the end, he can present to us a graph.
Oh, he'd give you an Excel spreadsheet with percentages.
Yeah. I'm thinking that this might be, I'm actually being serious here, that I might want to involve Jeff Steven at some point. And shame on Maxi Axe for trying to look at this. He's trying to hawk his AC/DC single on the show.
Hey, if he can make some dough and he has backtracks, why not, right?
I do not want to be a go-between. for Max the Axe's CD selling business. I don't want to be a part of this. If you want to contact Max the Axe, go nuts. I don't want to be a go-between. Are we back to me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Number 4.
Number 4. And I'm surprised this song hasn't made anybody's list yet. Back to Dirty Deeds. Ain't no fun waiting around to be a millionaire.
Yep.
Which as a kid, I thought, what a great song. And I loved cranking it up at the end when it's kind of starting to fade out. And Bon Scott goes, "Hello, Howard. Best next door neighbor, best friend. Oh, yeah, get your fucking jumbo jet out of my airport." I thought, God damn, this is a good bit. These guys are funny.
Yeah.
And, Dirty Deeds was my first AC/DC album. So, yeah, I'm surprised none of you guys have picked it, but there's still time. There's still time.
Well, that's a song
Lots of Dirty Deeds songs.
When Stephen King was trying to convince AC/DC to do the soundtrack for Maximum Overdrive, he was like trying to tell them that he's a fan of theirs, even though like he has them in the forwards of his books, but I don't think they read Stephen King because they didn't really know who he was. So he was like trying to convince them that he's a big fan. So we started singing that song to them. And Angus and Malcolm looked at each other. They didn't know what the hell song he was singing. They didn't remember it because the last time they did it was in 1976, right? And they never played it live or anything like that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Stephen King tells that story on, I think, in Writing or something. Anyway,
I have that book. Yeah.
It's good. If you ever.
And personally speaking, one thing that I learned from that book, Stephen King said, write every day. And I try to do that.
Yep. Me too. Okay. So song number 4 on my list is from Fly on the Wall.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that would get Deke to sit up. It is Back in Business. Even with the terrible production that album has, Back in Business sounds like one of the dirtiest riffs that AC/DC has ever done. And yeah, when that comes on, I crank that one too. I absolutely love that song.
Yeah. Wicked. Wakey time.
All right, it's your turn, Deke.
There he is.
You know what, Kev? That is very true about Fly on the Wall. Like even songs like what is it? Danger.
Yeah.
Like honorable mentions, right? Like there's some pretty cool.
I like Danger. I'd almost consider it a deep cut, even though it was a single. I mean, they buried that single.
Yeah.
Even like Stand Up. I mean, there's some pretty cool tunes on there.
Shake Your Foundations.
Yeah,
I think the whole album is fantastic. It's just some of the songs need to be like, for some reason, Sink the Pink and Shake Your Foundation sound fine, but the rest of the album, there's just something off about them. I don't know what's going on there.
We got a question here. I'm going to throw this to Kevin. Did AC/DC ever cover Elvis? I know they covered Chuck Berry. I don't know.
They might have. They were a boogie band when they first started, right? And they would just do anything like Chuck Berry, Little Richard.
Elvis would have been up their alley.
Probably. It like if they started playing anything with big chords, I was a little slower. They had to play boogie because they were performing for people who were dancing and people wanted to dance. Yeah. So when they first started off, it's very likely that they did, but they never recorded any Elvis tunes, as far as I know.
Cool. So
where are we?
Is from the Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
And that will be Got You by the...
Oh, he cut out, right?
Did he cut out?
Yeah, he cut out.
He did.
Got you by the...
word.
Whoa, what happened there?
There.
Shut down by me?
Your neighbors remotely shut off their Wi-Fi.
Damn it. Anyway, yeah, that's my pick. I mean, I just love that tune. I mean, Johnson just starts that tune with the "Hey, Mr. Businessman," you know. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I really like about AC/DC is I always like their backing vocals.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like even as far back as the Dirty Deeds album, ball sucker, you know, like so live off the floor. I mean, you know, even after they made their millions and remade their millions with the Razor's Edge album, you know, got your shorts, got your curlies, you know, like it's got you by the balls, you know, like it's good, man. Just straight ahead riff rock. So yeah, all good.
That song gets an easy chuckle out of Sarka Sim every single time.
Oh,
What
there
about
we go.
Mistress for Christmas?
There we go. Yeah.
Mistress for Christmas, she doesn't like that song for some
Really?
reason. Yeah, she thinks it's a little.
Giving the dog a bone.
She likes that
That's a
one.
really stupid
Oh,
song title. A Mistress for Christmas is a bad song title.
Yeah, but
It just
you know,
is.
maybe it was just the age we were at. But when Razor's Edge came out, my buddies in high school, we thought that Got You by the Balls and Mistress for Christmas were bloody hilarious, especially when just the opening, jingle bells, jingle
Jingle all the way.
I can't wait till Christmas time when I roll you in the hay.
Oh, you know what?
Oh,
I
geez.
was-
Brian, and when Brian Johnson does it so much better than I do, it's so funny.
I was
Let's go to
I was 23 when Razor's Edge came out, and I still dug those tunes, so it didn't matter how old you are, man.
cool.
Fair enough. So it's my turn, eh? Number 4.
Yeah,
Number 4 will be my last Brian Johnson song. And one of my favorite songs by AC/DC. Inject the Venom from
Oh, yeah.
For Those About to Rock. Love the song. I actually recently in the last month got into a huge kick where I listened to the song like several times in a row. Something about it. Just a great song. It's such a great vocal by Brian Johnson on that song. Very cool.
Phil Rudd's drums, man. Like, if anyone doubts Phil Rudd's drumming, just play them Inject the Venom. He is just so spot on that thing. All over the place, but like it doesn't sound like he's all over the place, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
I really appreciate that kind of drumming when I was younger. And then I read a book. My cousin bought me a book, something about the best of Canadian rock. And Neil Peart was in there talking about Johnny Faye from the Tragically Hip. And I'm like, why does Neil Peart listen to Johnny Faye from the Tragically Hip? He's the most boring drummer ever. And then I read and I listened and I tried to comprehend a little bit. And now I get that style of drumming. And I was too much of like a progressive metal snob to appreciate it before, but now I truly get it. And a guy like Phil Rudd, I'm gonna talk about Phil Rudd on my number 1 song a bit, but I really love that style of drumming now. I wish I always did, but
Somebody has to take a back seat in the band and let the other guys flourish. Like, you look at the Who. Pete Townshend never played very many solos. It was all Keith Moon and Johnny Entwistle that did all the fills, you know. So somebody's got to take the back seat. And in AC/DC, it's always the drummer and the bass player, but it's what they play, how they play it. You know, I could go on forever, but
it's also what they don't play. The spaces in between.
Yes. This guy. Yeah. Where are we?
Aaron.
Leave
Was it me? I didn't know. I'm going back to the Razor's Edge as well, but I'm going to give you Fire Your Guns.
That's a good one.
Track 2.
Yeah, that's another one just like Shot of Love. As soon as it comes on, man, it just gets cranked. You know,
Great track.
It's like every riff they've ever written. It's just been carved into granite, and it's immutable. You cannot not rock out to that song.
Yeah,
I'm going to call
it's
that a
tight.
shining moment for Chris Slade.
Mm.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So I guess we're at number 3. And if Jeff Steven were here, I'd ask him how many times this song's been mentioned. But Problem Child.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
Have we picked Problem Child yet?
Mr. Books.
Mr.
picked it.
Okay. Problem Child from Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Enough said.
It's all.
I always thought that I should have been like on the soundtrack to the John Ritter movie Problem Child.
Yes, me too. And if there was ever a modern remake of that movie, then it's a given.
At least in the commercial, in the trailer, right?
In the trailer,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
You mean the Three's Company guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie
Yeah,
Problem.
movies?
Yeah.
He made movies?
Yeah. he
Oh
had
yeah.
Very, very brief. Well, no, that's not true. Sling Blade, man. Have you seen Sling Blade?
Yeah, he was in that.
You would
He
like
was in
Sling
that?
Blade. Yeah.
Bad Santa.
Bad Santa's great.
Bad
He's
Santa
great
was
in
the
that.
very last movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
I really don't remember.
And one of the in a very early superhero movie called Hero at Large.
I don't know how.
Rob Daniels would.
Yeah, Rob. I'm just going to read a couple comments real quick. Tyler likes heavier music than I do, so he's talking about the perspective of the younger generation here, I think. And Mr. Cop, Fire Your Guns was played live, so the jury's out on whether it's actually a deep cut, in my opinion. Problem Child was played live a lot too. I was thinking about disqualifying myself on Problem Child, but I'm not, because Monsieur Lefevre also picked it.
There you go.
Arguments to be made.
Fire Your Guns was only played during the Razor's Edge tour, and then it was dropped immediately. So it did make the live album, the expanded version live album. But I'd give you that one. Problem Child though was played a lot, but whatever.
Played live is not a disqualifier. We've established that.
Yeah, it's
Full disclosure, because I'm not as knowledgeable about this stuff as you guys. I just like I like to put the album on and turn it up, and then I'm good for the day. But I just went to Wikipedia and looked at the singles for the album.
Yeah,
and figured everything else was fair game.
More or less what I think we discussed that. I discussed it with Meat anyway, but I did more or less the same thing. If it was a single on Wikipedia, or if it had like a link to its own article, I automatically didn't even think about it.
Oh, I didn't even go that far.
The only one, and I said this at the start, the only one that I picked that was a single is Oh Gene, but nobody's going to call me out on that.
We're not in a competition anyways, and I just want to hear opinions on what other...
Kevin, didn't I tell you that? The winner at the end.
Oh, crap. Okay, forget it. I'm changing my list.
Maybe if we ever get Jeff Steven involved, though, maybe we should have some kind of winner at the end.
Maybe.
Meat's gesturing.
I think it's Kevin's turn for number 3. Is that correct?
Yes,
yeah, we are.
He's ready to move on. He's got.
Yeah. Just trying to keep this rock and roll train going.
Okay.
Sorry. Just real quick, because Aaron did ask about this movie, Problem Child. Michael Richards played the bad guy. Michael Richards from Seinfeld.
That's right. Yeah.
And there's a funny scene that my sister loves. She would buy the movie just for this one scene. And it's near the end of the movie. Michael Richards has kidnapped the Problem Child. And he's kind of dragging him through like a zoo circus kind of thing. And a clown jumps out in front of them, and he's holding like a little stuffed giraffe. And he goes, "Look, a giraffe." And then Michael Richards goes, "Look, a fist." Clown out. And
like a cinema classic.
Rewind that stupid scene over and over and over again. Sorry, I'm done interrupting.
Just to stretch out the Problem Child talk just for a little bit, in the remake of Cape Fear, when the family's in the movie theater and Robert De Niro's like a few rows ahead of them and he's smoking the cigar and he's laughing, the movie on the screen is Problem Child.
Wow, that's crazy.
Fun fact. Okay, my number 3 is Give It Up from Stiff Upper Lip, and it made it all the way up to number 3 because it's number 12 on the album. It's really buried in there. And I think it's a fantastic song. It's kind of, there was a thing with AC/DC where they were putting the best song on the album all the way at the end of the album for some reason. But Give It Up, if you don't like Stiff Upper Lip, give It Up another shot. Give it another listen because it's got a nice groove to it.
Oh, killer, man. We're gonna get to Stiff Upper Lip a bit later.
Cool.
Hey, Deke.
Yeah.
You can't participate in the conversations when you're way back there. Are you sure you're okay with that?
It's all good, man. I'm just listening to you guys.
I'm like, we're going on these conversations. I just see Deke like
he's comfy. He's comfy.
He's comfortable. I'm wondering if you're even awake. And hey, Kevin.
Oh, geez. I knew I shouldn't have started. I shouldn't have said anything.
Aaron, question for you.
No. Quick tour. I've never owned a Line 6 amplifier. So which way is it? Okay, so this one is the Boss Katana 50 Mark 1. This one is the old original Fender G-Deck 15. I've got a pig nose here. And this is the Yamaha THR5.
There you go. There's your gear breakdown. Okay, sorry, Super Deeks.
All good. You might think I'm snoozing, but I won't. I can tell you guys that I was listening to the Chris Slade conversation there earlier.
Yeah.
You know about Fire Your Guns?
Yeah.
I read an interesting article that when that beginning of the song where Chris Slade's kind of going to town on the hi-hat, I guess Malcolm Young hears it. He just doesn't want a straight counting with the hi-hat. He wants like pizzazz of different, like almost like I think it was 8 notes he wanted, and he'd made Chris Slade work over and over and over just on that intro. And he said it almost drove him like batshit crazy. I mean, when we hear it, it sounds so simple.
Yeah.
But then you have the guy who has the actual experience, because Chris Slade, as you know, he played with Page and Paul Rogers in the Firm, and the guy's played with some credible bands, and then he joins AC/DC, and Malcolm's going, no, again, so it's not simple, but man, it's probably pretty damn hard. So
yeah,
insane. That's further to what Meat said earlier.
Yeah, sorry.
No, keep going.
No, keep going. My number 3 is from the Power Age album, and that would be "Gimme a Bullet."
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? I always loved that bass. It always sounded like it was not your typical normal AC/DC driving bass. It had kind of a boop, 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 boop to it, and kind of a cool groove to it. And the guitars are cranked on 11, and Bon Scott nails down some great lyrics. And yeah, man, super, super good track. So,
wicked.
Yep.
Yeah, I always thought that song should have been bigger than what it was.
Yeah, great song.
Mm-hmm. Well, for my number 3, it seems like every time that Deke picks one, I have one from the same album, nice. And mine is from Power Age, which is definitely my favorite album by AC/DC. And my number 3 is "What's Next to the Moon." Now,
almost.
I looked this up, and there's conflicting reports. Some sites say the song is called "Next to the Moon," and some sites say the song is called "What's Next to the Moon." I don't really care. I'll just call it "What's Next to the Moon." That is one of their coolest songs. Long intro. There isn't a bad song on that album, and it from beginning to end, it's pure rock on that album, and that song is as good as anything else on the album, and that's my number 3.
Cool, good one, man.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not giving him the thumbs down. I should be pointing.
Out of all the guys on this talk, for anybody watching, I am the least knowledgeable about AC/DC. I really am. For me, it's just a visceral experience. I don't know the who said what to who and why they were fighting and all that crap. I just know I like it.
Yeah.
So
fair.
That's a fine approach.
Yeah. I like to keep it simple. So this is the one where I thought maybe I was going out on a bit of a limb. I don't know if it was a single or not. If it is, I have other backups I could use. But I absolutely love, from the Last Action Hero soundtrack, "Big Gun."
Yeah, okay. You know what?
That is a good song. I forgot about that song.
It's a single, but I'm going to allow it because...
Oh, if it's a single, I immediately allow... And also you get Arnold Schwarzenegger in the video, which is awesome. Yeah. But, okay, so if that's the case, then I give you "Stiff Upper Lip," "House of Jazz."
No, I'm allowing it.
Oh, okay.
I'd allow it.
No, I was considering that song at one point. It was their very first collaboration with Rick Rubin. And, I was considering it, so...
Okay.
Yeah, no qualification.
But if it was a single and anybody has a problem with that, I bow to superior knowledge.
Oh, wait.
See? Okay.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't get
He doesn't get a say. All right. Maybe I'm qualified next.
Number 2.
I picked a song that I think is a deep cut, but then I remembered I think it's on the Beavis and Butthead "Do America" sound.
Yeah, I disqualified that song for that reason. But.
Okay, fine. Gone Shooting was my pick, but I'm just
that's good. There you go. No, I'm kidding. Okay, that's a good song.
I love it. It's got kind of a twang to it, more like a southern rock track than some of the other AC/DC tunes. And I think I first heard it on that AC/DC soundtrack, and when I did, I thought, why is this not one of the biggest hits they've ever had?
Mm-hmm.
So Gone Shooting, which is Beavis and Butthead "Do America," but from Power Age.
It's in the movie, too. It's featured right in the movie.
Yes,
I absolutely love that movie.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't know why. It just strikes me as the... Oh, anyway.
Sorry, what was that, monsieur?
Oh, I love that film. I actually own the DVD.
I'll tell the story real quick. I went to the theater to see it with my sister. And there was this customer at the record store called Peter the Rocker. And he was like from Germany or something. And I'm Peter the Rocker. And he had really, really long curly hair. And he was wearing a toque that night, a black toque. And he cut a hole in the back of his toque so he could put his ponytail through his toque. And that was, my sister's like, you know this guy with a toque? I'm like, yeah, just don't worry about it.
We're getting a tour of the neighbor's house here.
We're in the kitchen now. Deke's going to make himself something to eat now.
Nice.
That stuff's been in there since January. I wouldn't eat it.
They might be a little pissed I sold their car, but other than that.
They weren't using it, right?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, the funny thing is, I recognize this kitchen, and Deke has streamed from this kitchen before.
Yes, he has. He has.
Yeah.
I know he has.
Candace first watched that movie, Beavis and Butthead, at a
Wow.
youth retreat.
So is this a goddamn?
Oh my God, that's so
I can see that going over well.
Lots of slots in Las Vegas.
Are you threatening me?
The peyote trip in the middle of the film. The Rob Zombie animated peyote trip.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay, so my number two. So 1 and 2 are the first songs that came to my mind, and I just wrote them down right away. I'm surprised that no one has picked them. I'm hoping that no one picks my number 1. But my number 2 is Kicked in the Teeth from Power Rage.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that song. I love the call and response. It's a Whole Lot of Rosie-esque, where Bond sings the thing and then they come in with the riff. And the riff is like 2 chords, but it's one of those songs where they make it sound like as if they're playing 6 chords. They're just jamming on that B, but it sounds like as if they're playing it like 3 different ways. Yeah. And that's a grooving track. That's another one I crank every single time.
Brilliant.
Love, 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 love.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right. Back to did you get that snack out of the fridge or no?
Well, hang on a sec.
He comes back with the beer.
I have no idea. He's got something.
Well, I figure if it's January, the beer will be.
Oh, here we go.
Troy!
Hey.
Where's his list?
Troy!
Well, you just got way better looking, Deke. Way better looking.
Anyway, I just thought I'd drop in and say, hey, guys. So just to let you all know, I'm kind of enjoying the live stream.
Oh.
Thank you.
So just want you all to know that Uncle Meat stole Deke's number 2 pick and went back to the moon.
Oh.
So, yeah. Keep on rocking in the free world, fellas. And we'll talk to you later.
Thanks. I've never met that guy, but I'm 100% certain that's a dead-on impression of him.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like Homer Simpson.
Well, next time I go out to his camp, he'll probably drown me, so you'll know how that is.
Funny.
All right.
Me for now for number 2?
What do you do for an encore to that?
I can't have an encore to that. My number 2 is from the album Highway to Hell. And it is, I believe, Dr. Dave Haslam's favorite AC/DC song. We have talked about this song many times. And it is Walk All Over You.
Yeah.
So heavy. Phil Rudd is this is where I don't know, and I didn't look it up, and it's something I have a problem with when it comes to songwriting credits. For example, there are songs by the band that Robbie Robertson takes credit for, and he's been paid for many years for, but no credit for Levon Helm for even writing vocal lines and whatever. It makes no sense to me. The drums in Walk All Over You make the song. And I'm quite sure that whoever wrote that song didn't tell Phil Rudd what to play. That is creation, and he should be getting a songwriting credit for that. But that's my rant.
Drummers
over.
Rarely get songwriting credits.
Yeah, but no, I think there are songs that are made by choices that are made by members of bands, and for me, this is a good example. And it's another example of the background vocals that I think Kevin was talking about, or it might have been Deke, or it might have been the pseudo Deke. I don't know. Yeah, it just such a great and heavy song. Definitely my favorite song off of Highway to Hell. And yeah, that's my number 2.
Wicked.
I agree with you, Beat. There's something about like arranging a song that's so important that makes it popular and connect with people. You know, like it just how like the tempo, whatever. There's so many different layers that go into a song, and why people who arrange a song are not in on the writing credits. It boggles my mind. The best way to do it is like Tragically Hip did it. They just everybody gets a songwriting credit.
There are bands that do that. Like a Queen started doing that after a certain amount of time. That's the way it should be. Yeah, like unless he's being told exactly what to play at every time, it should be a team thing.
Like there's certain artists, like you see like Michael Jackson. If you ever watch the movie This Is It, you know, like you just see him like just telling every musician exactly what to do, and I want it exactly this way. That's fine. But when you are actually coming up with like a different arrangement or whatever, like when Billy Joel comes in with a reggae song and his drummer tells him, no, let's play it this way, and it becomes a huge hit. Well, he should get some credit for that. You know?
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Except for a period when Richie Blackmore was kind of in control of the band, Deep Purple credited all 5 members, Ian Pace included. And if you watch Deep Purple rehearse and record albums, Ian Pace is a critical part. He's always there during the construction of the song.
Big time.
Yeah, you can't write a Deep Purple song without Ian Pace.
No.
Yeah, and again, with you mentioned the hip. Without Johnny Faye there, you got nothing. No.
Totally.
Anyway, Monsieur Livre.
Number 2.
Songwriting credits. I have always loved the way Sloan has done it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's 4 of them, so there's 12 songs on the album, and they each get to write 3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome. You know,
that's cool. That's kind of like the Real Statics in a way.
Yeah.
Oh,
man, talk about hit me right here.
My site earlier in the week. I could name Rio Statics. I could name Sloan. I could name any number of these Canadian bands that we've been talking about tonight as the greatest Canadian band of all time, easily.
Yep.
That's another topic.
And also to you, Meet, when you were talking about Robbie Robertson and the band, I've read all those books and I've heard the interviews and stuff. And man, that is a thorny one.
It is a big time thorny one.
Oh my God, that's a hard one because I love Levon Helm and I don't always love Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the documentary We Were Brothers?
It's basically Robbie Robertson. Like it's all Robbie Robertson. It's only his perspective.
Yeah.
It's worth watching, but it's maddening to watch. I found.
Yeah. There's definitely conflicting emotions while you're watching it, but I still thought it was very well done. And I thought it was
just to live up to my name, we have a couple of books here about the band as well. This Wheel's on Fire and something else. Anyway, but they're very good.
Yeah.
So just go into Amazon, type in the band under books, and you'll find them.
Mr. Books.
Mr. Books.
Right, I'm gonna read some comments here. Harrison thought it was funny that I got disqualified on my own show.
Hi, Mike.
I think this comment might be directed towards the discussion we had when I was telling the story about my sister.
Smoke show.
I couldn't agree more, Chris. I couldn't agree more.
I almost said Dr. Smoke Show, but I didn't want to.
Harrison wanted to know if that was an upscaled psychopath action figure helmet. Warned us about LeBrain, and now you go and do that. Yeah, he's referring to an earlier joke that he made a few weeks back. Yes. And I think Tyler here, when we were talking about the songwriting credits here, Metallica issue with Dave Mustaine, although that's a thorny one too. That could be a show unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
Very thorny.
Very thorny. But this is the last round, the lightning round. The number one.
But I didn't even do my second last one.
Oh shit!
I don't think he's done number 2.
Oh shit! Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm just here. I'm here all week. Tip your bartenders.
There you go.
Try the veal.
That's not veal.
Oh no.
Okay,
The meat man
it
would
doesn't
know.
really matter anyway because this one somebody else picked. It was Landslide from Flick of the Switch.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Love
Well,
it.
somebody else had that, so it's a quick one.
Two of
anyway.
us. Two of us had it.
Okay, there you go. So as you were, lightning round.
Okay. Big shout out to Stiff Upper Lip. Big shout out to Phil Rudd. My favorite song in that album, which I frequently play several times in a row before going to the next song, is called Hold Me Back. And it's so simple. It's so simple. It's a kick drum and a cymbal for most of the song. It's just a kick drum and a cymbal. And not much in terms of a chorus. You know, the riff just keeps going and going. It's a very simple riff. And I really like that rock and roll sound that AC/DC have when they just kind of play something traditional. And they really... Stiff Upper Lip is a simpler album, I think. And that just appeals to me. And I'm not going to say it's among their best albums, but that song is my number one AC/DC deep cut.
There you
Nice.
go.
I think Stiff Upper Lip is the album they were trying to do with Ball Breaker and didn't quite get there. And I think they accomplished it with Stiff Upper Lip. I think it's a really good throwback album to before they made it big kind of thing. Like there's a lot of more older style rock on that one.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, my number one, and I'm glad it has not been picked. But I'm sure you guys all know it. My number one is Spellbound from For Those About to Rock.
Nice.
And I think it
Great
is
song,
the
great
most underrated song that AC/DC has ever. It's about depression. I mean, AC/DC, you think they do songs about rock, they do songs about girls. That's pretty much it. You know, there really isn't. This was a song that's genuinely about depression. It's got, you know, a bit of a blues vibe to it. You know, I think that's what they were going for. I think Brian Johnson's best lyrics, unless he ripped that off of Bon Scott too, who knows? But I just think it's a fantastic song. It's a slower tempo one. It was a perfect song to end For Those About to Rock on. And I think Angus has a great solo in it, and just the whole band just sounds melancholy. It's just, when have you ever put the word melancholy in with AC/DC? Like, I think Ride On
and O'Gene.
Well, yeah, Love Song is a little, yeah, maybe it is. Sure, maybe. So maybe they've done it a few times.
I think melancholy.
But I think that's the only time they've ever done it with Brian Johnson, and they've never done anything like that since, you know. And so that that's why it's my number one.
Wicked woman stealer.
Oh yes.
All right.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So since we have the AC/DC guru of trivia, I want Kevin to guess my number one. It has not been picked tonight. I'm going to give you a clue.
Okay.
The song ends. It's the last song on this record. Song completely ends, and you hear Bon Scott say,
Shazbutt.
Nanu.
Yeah.
It is
Nightcrawler.
Great song.
Dude, man. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So back when I was grade 9, buddy of mine played guitar phenomenal. Like we were like 13, 14 at the time. His parents, he was so good, his parents bought him an SG, an actual Gibson SG, and like a little Marshall stack. And he started playing in bands eventually. But this guy was so good with those licks of playing stuff like Nightcrawler and stuff from Back in Black at the time. Me and T-Bone were just like, holy shit, like this, you're going to go places. He stayed high school. He didn't go any parties. All he did was just jam that SG. And then, you know, like you do with high school, you kind of drift different ways. So one time me and T-Bone were playing, actually, ironically enough, Crocs and Rolls in the Kern River Band. And who bumps into us outside after this show but our pal, who's completely obliterated, like just never even seen a guy like this. And he says to us, he says, you know what? He goes, you guys were really good tonight, which we knew he was bombed out of his tree by that comment. So he said, this is one of our, me and Troy still talk about this. He says, you know, you guys, when you played, Jumpin' Jack Flash from Frampton Comes Alive. Because Frampton did do a version of Jumpin' Jack Flash. He goes, you guys nailed it to a T. And then me and Troy looked at each other and we went, yeah, we played Jumpin' Jack Flash, but that was kind of like the Stones version. We didn't do a 15-minute. He thought we were doing the Frampton version. We knew he was beyond polluted. He actually wanted to join our band that night. We've never seen him again. So when I think of Nightcrawler, I just think of how good he was on the guitar. And if he's still out there, I hope he's still jamming it. But his parents were cool. They let him paint on their basement wall the Zeppelin 4 album cover.
Holy crap!
Yeah, like this
Wow.
cool. Yeah, this was cool stuff. And boy, could he just ripped. I mean, he went into the high school bands, like a couple of high school rock bands, and everybody was amazed at his talent. I mean, he could really play guitar. So I always remember, even when I hear Nightcrawler, it always takes me back to that moment in time. So, you know, it's pretty cool. So great track. That's though. Cool. It ends the album, and great lyrics by Bon Scott. I mean, when didn't he write good lyrics? So
yeah, for sure.
Sorry to ramble on.
No, it's the last round, so let her rip, man.
So yeah,
me, my turn.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's Deke and I always seem to be in sync in some way, and it's funny because Kevin was talking earlier about last tracks on albums are usually the best tracks on albums, and the lyrics. And all I got to say is, two-faced woman with the two-faced lies. I hope your two-faced living keeps you satisfied. Tell me, baby, I was your only one. Well, you've been running around with every mother's son. It's awesome lyrics and an awesome way to end on my favorite AC album. I Kicked in the Teeth Again, which was picked by Kevin. I believe it's number 2. Is by far my favorite song by AC/DC and had to be my number 1.
Awesome.
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah. There it is.
All right. Monsieur Livre.
Oh, now we all know I wasn't numbering mine, and I'm not at some ultimate favorite or anything. These are all awesome.
This is just the last song you chose to mention.
Yeah. And I hesitated because of the talk about Back in Black. And I hesitated because people say if it was played live or if it's a fan favorite or whatever, it's not really. But this was never a single.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it to Shoot to Thrill.
Yeah.
Because it's just a monster song and it's awesome and it should have been a single, but it never was officially released as a single, even though it's been played and played and played and played.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It was released as a single for the Iron Man 2 soundtrack.
Okay, hang on. I've got Wikipedia right here in front of me. This is how worried I was about this. Shoot to Thrill by Australian hard rock band AC/DC, the second track on Back in Black. The song is also the second track on AC/DC Live and AC/DC Live 2 Collector's Edition, and is included on the Iron Man 2 soundtrack. Although the studio version was never released as a single, the song is a fan favorite and a staple on classic rock radio stations. So
Wikipedia's got it wrong.
There and update your Wikipedia.
Okay,
I'm going to Discogs.
I mean, it had a video, and it was the song that they used to promote that soundtrack, and it was featured in the Iron Man 2 movie. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? I don't care.
We also have the Record Store Day exclusive Shoot to Thrill single live at River Plate. I have that. And here's a picture. Yeah, Discogs have the AC/DC Shoot to Thrill CD single from Iron Man 2. So, just for the hell of it, we're gonna. Oh my God, we have Kylo Ren now.
Is that who that is? Aaron, I thought that was a Black Sabbath guy.
We're gonna disqualify and subject him to sentence him to death by Kylo Ren.
Who let Daft Punk into this talk?
That's very Daft Punk. No doubt about it. Funny. That's funny.
If Shoot to Thrill was a single and Chris Starr says I'm disqualified, then I will backtrack that. I was only, as I said, going by Wikipedia, and like I said, I'm not the knowledgeable guy about this, so I will give you Night of the Long Knives. For those,
sure, why not?
I'm good. I'm good with that.
Because that one wasn't mentioned either, and it maybe should have been. So,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
And now that's the end of the lists. There are no more.
Well, that was fun.
I kind of flew
That
by.
was awesome.
We've been doing this for an hour and a half, but it still kind of flew by.
Almost.
I think we should stay. I think we should stay on the line for a while because I called the cops to that address that Deke's in on, and I want to see him get arrested.
The SWAT team's coming in for Deke. You
I don't-
swatted
Yeah.
him.
Good idea considering that you're in the witness protection program.
Yeah, I've got a direct line. I made some calls.
Don't worry, me. They're not going to find any of my burner phones, pal.
Good. That's a good thing.
Do you remember when Walter White went into hiding in like New Hampshire? And yeah, that's where Deke is hiding right now. He's hiding at Walter White's shack in New Hampshire. Senor Libros, how dare you not know every single minute trivial detail about a band? Shame on you. My God, piling on Aaron tonight. They're just piling.
Bring it. These are broad shoulders. You can't see it, but those are not shoulder pads, ladies.
I do give him credit for translating your nickname into a third language, though.
That is awesome.
That is
I don't. It's funny. I've got a memory. I couldn't tell you anything actually important, but I have a memory for some things about bands that I like. You know, like I can tell you some things about the Rolling Stones. Maybe some people wouldn't know, but I don't tend to. I don't tend to obsess about that stuff. Like I said, I just like to put the album on and go. You know, I want to hear the music. I like I'll read the books and stuff, but half of it just goes in and, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's hard to retain stuff at our age.
Oh, I don't. And I'm, you know, I might be one of the, I don't know. I'm not the oldest one here, but I sometimes struggle remembering that stuff. So how can I not know? Easy.
So Max the Axe is shouting out "Girls Got Rhythm," which is a good pick, but
That is a good song.
Single.
And he's asking "Is Night of the Long Knives" about the Nazi rise to power?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to Google that, man. I know that there's.
I do have some honorable mentions that were not talked about. Like I wrote Livewire down, which I think is a great song, but they did play it live a lot, so I kind of skipped over that one or did not put that on my list for that reason.
There was
Gonna be some Rockin', which is a good one. Go Down, I think that's another great song.
Yeah.
That's a great example of Bon Scott talking about sex, but in like a fun sort of way, not a nasty, mean sort of way, which I really appreciate from his lyrics. But again,
that's romantic.
Well, I don't know if it's romantic, but it's about him having fun with a lady. It's not about him like just giving a dog a bone. You know, like it's nice. It's a little pleasant. And then Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be. That's another great song. They play it live a lot, so that's the only reason why I didn't pick that one. But pretty much everything else you guys picked that was on my list of honorable mentions.
Mr. Helsing, I like this. He's been buying more full albums lately and listening to them in full recently.
Yes.
You know what's cool is Tyler, he's only in his early 20s. So that's
the only way
that very few people in his age group are into, but our age group, that's what we grew up doing.
I gotta tell you,
Go and get a whole... Go on.
I was just gonna say what you gotta do too is limit yourself to only a few albums. Like it's so easy to download a whole discography. Right. Now you got everything, and it's very overwhelming. Pick like 2 albums and just listen to those and absorb those, you know, and make those your like pick your favorites and make those your albums, and then move on to the other stuff, because that's how you really connect with music. If you're just listening to everything, it just becomes background noise, you know. Like
when we were kids, you'd save your root money, and you'd go to the record store once every month, maybe, and you'd buy a couple, and you would absorb those for that entire month until you had enough money to buy more.
And you read all the liner notes over and over again.
Sorry, what's that, Aaron?
And you'd read all the liner notes over and over again.
You know who the producer is, who wrote what song, and all that.
I wouldn't remember any of it, but I remember reading it.
Yeah.
And you know, Aaron and I have gone on these big Toronto binges where we've come home with 20, 25 albums. And the truth of the matter is, those albums have not stuck with me because I'm buying 20 at a time.
Yeah.
And it's like it's an avalanche of music. It's too much at one time. And I've got albums that I've bought with Aaron like 5 years ago that I'm kind of put on the back burner, and it's like I'll come back to them at some point. You know.
And what I've been doing is I've been like, yeah, okay, I could get like these 3 albums for $50, or this one album for $50 that I really want, and I'll go for the one album that I really want because that's the music you want to connect with, you know.
Yeah.
It's so what if you can get more for bang for your buck, but are you really, if they're just 3 albums that are going to sit on your shelf and you're going to get to someday, you know?
Well, that's something that COVID has really brought along too, because when we would go to Toronto, Mike, and we would buy those stacks of albums and whatever and have a great time. I personally listened to all of those.
Yeah.
You know, I put them on and I enjoy them, and you know, because there's music, or it's in the headphones or whatever. I'm listening to music, but very little goes to the back burner. But COVID has brought on, because I've been quarantined here. I'm over 180 days now here at the house mostly. Saturday morning is my time to get out. I get to go buy groceries. For contact tracing, I'm out that one time. So I think, and we've put the kids in the remote learning, so they're home. So now I'm still home. And so I think this has brought on that ease of going in and just sort of saying, hey, I'd like to try this, is gone. If I'm going to get something, it's got to come from online. There's going to be shipping costs. It takes deliberation to choose it.
Yep. You
have to go to the cart and pay for it and all that stuff. You know, it's not like you just walked in and dropped $5 on a CD and you know, like it's a very deliberate process now. And I find I've bought a lot less music over the last since it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Actually, I should mention this. This is actually, it's not the exact date, but this is essentially the 6-month anniversary of this show. So, yay!
Wow!
Oh, happy anniversary!
Hey, so I want to say to this Tyler person that you spoke of. You mentioned that he's in his early 20s.
Yeah.
And what the hell was that? Anyway, he's in his early 20s and he's into heavy music, right?
Very heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. I was the same when I was in my 20s. I was Slayer, Metallica, Venom, whatever. If I could tell my 20-year-old self one thing that I know now is do not wait to get into the Thin Lizzy catalog.
Oh, yeah.
Too many people, and I ignored them for way too long. But I honestly believe that they have the best back catalog of albums that people that not enough people truly know about. So go and seek out Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
I have Mike to thank for all mine.
Tyler's got a couple comments here regarding what we're talking about. He has music going all day. He buys maybe 2 albums a band and then decides his prized favorites. He's name dropping Tyr, Epica, and Gojira. Which
Yes.
guy.
It's all about the heavy, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Gojira is fantastic.
And I got to see them in concert, and it just about ripped my skin off. It was so good. Oh my God. We saw Mastodon and Gojira together. And it was, what a night. Oh my God. Yes. Right
on.
It's L'Enfant Sauvage.
You know what?
Okay, boys. My phone is just about to die.
Yeah.
And I got to go put pants on. So,
It's getting cold.
yeah, it's getting cold.
That is the best outro you've ever had.
I missed it. Yeah. I would have said that it was Deke that didn't have pants on the way he was lounging around there.
Yeah.
He's got short pants on.
He really doesn't have pants on.
Well, we're at it. I got my alien pants.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Now, Aaron, you missed this, but on one of the earliest streams when I was doing Judas Priest or something, I half mooned the audience.
I'm not sorry I missed that.
Kevin and Deke, like I didn't even know. I had turned around to get something. I didn't even know it had happened, and I didn't know until after the show. And Deke messages me, and he's like, "Cool, full moon or half moon there," and I'm like, "What are we talking about?"
It should have been what's next to the moon.
I didn't know
Yeah, there you go.
if I
There you
can make
go.
a pun, if
No,
I can
that's
make a
funny.
pun, I didn't know you
Okay,
moonlighted
I'm
as a plumber.
Yeah. Take care.
I'm gonna
man.
die. Aaron, Deke, it's great to see you guys again. Kevin, it was a lot of fun, and we got to do it again.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Peace,
anytime.
Good luck in
peace,
Windsor.
everybody.
Say
See
hi
ya.
to Joel Goodman.
Peace, peace.
Peace out.
Hey, you know what? I'll tell you guys a great story. Mike, you were talking about earlier about, so much music coming out that, you put stuff aside for a few months, years, whatever. Back in the early 90s, like when I was buying music, whenever something new would drop, I'd buy it right away, especially stuff like Maiden, AC/DC, Priest.
Yeah, that's
Right?
different though. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys like T-Bone, they would wait till we went on trips to like Winnipeg, and we hit all the record stores. They'd say, "Oh, you got to get this one. You got to get this one," and then you would leave it with a pile. So, anyways, 1994, we went to Winnipeg to see Pink Floyd. We went with two other guys, and ironically enough, it got down to the point where we were going to do a CD off, and what that was I was going to go with T-Bone. He was going to see how many CDs he was going to buy, and our pal Andre and Lloyd were going to go separate and see how many CDs they were going to buy. And since I didn't have to buy any CDs, I was going to be the judge. I was going to count each guy's CD pile, and whoever lost would have to buy the beers and the pizza for that night. So we went out with T-Bone, and I said, we specified, it has to be rock. Okay? So we all went around, and we gave ourselves, 3-4 hour time limit. We all met back at the hotel. T-Bone had his bag full of bought CDs. So did Andre. So we did the count. 1, 2, 3. Next thing you know, we're up to 13, 14, like just a stack of CDs. 14. And actually, T-Bone, Andre beat him by 1. I think it was like either 14 to 13 or 15 to 14. And I had to disqualify Andre because he, out of all his rock discs, he bought a Krista Burr. He was actually pissed. Sorry, this isn't rock. Yeah,
No,
but
the lady in red is not rock.
I'm like,
In no one's universe is that rock.
I remember writing a rant about that song. Like, did he just meet that woman? I've never seen you looking so lovely as you did tonight. Like, or is he really that harsh to her?
I guess.
If you go back, there's a whole rant about it.
Dick.
I don't know, but yeah,
that would be mad.
Times. I don't know. And back then, CDs were going for about $15-$20 a pop. They dropped serious going, man.
Oh, no. They're not professionals then, because I can go to Toronto.
Yeah.
And I can come back with like 20 CDs and have spent less than $100.
I was just
No, we're talking 1994 when there was no
true. Oh, I still would have. I bargain. I bins. I will buy stuff out of bins rather than full price.
This guy, I was just gonna say, when we go to Toronto, it's not a competition, but when we go to Toronto, Aaron always comes out with more quantity for maybe the same amount of money spent. But we also have different goals. He's going there and he goes through that BMV 3 for $10 bin and he scours it. And we kind of do it as a team effort to make sure that we have enough 3 for 10. Like there's no just 2. It's always 3, 3, 3, 3. And one of us will buy something random just to get us to the 3 for 10. But anyway, my point being, we always hit BMV. We always hit Sonic Boom. And I'm usually kind of the one of us that's buying new CDs, whereas Aaron is scouring those used CD bins, and that's often because I'm looking for something specific, like whatever, the new release or a deluxe edition. Not a competition, but we do. I love doing our tallies. When we have lunch at Poppers.
At Poppers, yeah.
I love doing our tallies. It's so much fun, and I think. Phone's ringing. I think when we return to Toronto, we have to figure out a way to do a final tally because in all those videos we do the midday tally at Poppers, and then there's no tally at the end. So when we return to Toronto, we gotta figure out a way to do a final tally.
Oh, maybe in the car before we leave.
Yeah, something like that.
My favorite finding something in a bin story with you. We walked. I don't know, and poor Mike, I drag him all over Hell's Half Acres to record shops, and he's always like, "Are we there?" Because like I could walk all day; it doesn't bother me, right? And my sister's the same way. She says, just one more sand dune to go, like Spaceballs, right? When she walks with me. But we went all the way out west on Queen West, way out past Bathurst. There was a record shop out there. And then they moved. I remember they were still west, but they went north a little bit towards College, and I forget what they were called. Anyway, and they had a bin by the front door, and we were doing the thing, and I was going through, and I found this little bin. It was bigger than a milk crate, but it was just this box by the front door, and everything in it was $1 or $2. And I was going through it, and I came up with a copy still in the plastic, never opened, of Metallica's Live at Grimey's for $2. And Mike says, "You bastard, you want to know what I paid for that?"
I got 2 copies of it. I got CD and vinyl, but man,
it pays to dig, man.
That was a score.
Yeah.
Oh, we had some good trips, but COVID's fucked it all.
Oh yeah. And my dad and I talk about that all the time because he really wants to go. My dad always goes with us.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious because we'll get to a red light and jump out of the car and say, "See you later." Like he doesn't wait for us to park. He just leaves. He's like, "Yep, I'm gone."
If Sonic Boom, and he's there waiting on a bench for us.
Yeah, he's got his backpack and a cell phone. He's fine.
I just want to real quick, just because this isn't just a music thing.
Yeah.
It's also about connection, and it's also about just talking to each other. But I kind of wanted to mention COVID real quick because obviously in Ontario we've had some real bad numbers in the last week, and things are not looking good for the upcoming fall-winter season. And I was just kind of curious what you guys, we'll go clockwise, how you guys are feeling today, given this information that we've got this week. Starting with you, Kev.
Well, I think it was sometime last month that Sarah and I actually went out to a couple of record stores. We drove to Coburg because there's Zap Records there. And they had closed the store in Kingston, I think, or one of those places. And their stock had come to the Coburg store. So we went over there to check that out. And then on our way back, we stopped at Cops. And that was the only time we've been out for anything other than groceries or necessities like batteries or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we were feeling, okay, things seem to be calmed down in that. And the places were really safe, you had your hand sanitizer and you're wearing your masks and you can wear gloves while going through the records, which, I mean, that's fine with me, man. We're going through records is grimy anyway, so why not put on some gloves? But last weekend we were thinking about, like, the itch was coming again. Like, let's go out, let's look at stuff. But you know what? We said, like, the numbers are going up. Well, let's just stay home. There's no point in going out and risking it and spreading the disease to other people. It's not so much us. Like, we're fairly young, and I think we'd be okay. But I don't want to give it to grandma, someone's grandma or something like that. And I still got to go to work and all that stuff. So
I don't want to.
If I get sick, like right now, we have a system that's kind of working for us. If any one of us gets sick, it's going to be more work for the other people to go in, and I don't want to put people in that situation. So screw it, we're just staying home. So the numbers going up means, like, the temptation is just gone to go out anymore. It's like, no, we'll just buckle down.
All right, Super Deeks, how are you feeling?
Well, I mean, I work in a hospital, right? Yeah. So once this stuff hit back in March, I mean, you have no choice. I know, Kevin, you work in healthcare as well, right?
No, I'm in worse. I'm in television. No, it's not worse. I'm just kidding. No, but it's considered an essential service for some reason. People need to watch TV for some reason.
But here they kind of got on the precautionary right away. I mean, we've been lucky. We've had only one death. Actually, as of today, they just announced another case. But like I said, I work at the hospital. I felt comfortable from the time it started going to work. I wasn't nervous. You just have to hope that everybody around you is doing their due diligence, right? And basically, it was go to work, go home. I mean, even this past the end of August and September, I had 3 weeks holidays. And me and Stu, we just stuck around the house. We went out a few times, but that's like to get the necessities, right? And check in with my parents. But other than that, we weren't even going to the outdoor patios. We just stay home, man. And all you can do is hope for the best and do your own. And Kevin said it too. Like the apartment I work in is small.
Yeah.
So if one of us goes down, the slack has to get picked up. Or if one of us goes down and has it, it's big trouble, right? Yeah. So fortunately, knock on wood, back there, it's been, we've been lucky up here. I mean, I know what you guys are going through is a shitstorm, a lot worse than where we are. Yeah. I mean, I remember growing up here in Thunder Bay, and a lot of people just itching to move out of Thunder Bay because, Thunder Bay is isolated. Thunder Bay sucks. But right now, Thunder Bay is all right place to live, if you ask me. So we're doing our best, but we're like everybody else, man. Like Frank, man. He's in the promoting concert business, right? Yeah. He's shut down, and he's not touching a band within a 10-foot pole until this whole thing slides right over. He's not going to do. I don't think I shouldn't put words in his mouth, but from just talking to him, I think it's almost like he's not going to do, 20 people or whatever. Like it's all or nothing. And I'm just glad I was able to catch a lot of shows last year. So other than that, you know what, we're doing good. I mean, my wife Sue, she works in the school, so she's back to work. So I mean, I just kept trucking to work every day, and what can you do? You just got to do your best and just try to eliminate and just stay home, man. That's why I said and trust me, I don't have a problem staying home. Drop the needle.
Yeah. You mentioned Frank. I want to talk about Frank in a minute. I want to talk about the movie one more time before we go. Sure. But Aaron, you talked about how you've been in quarantine for 120 days or whatever.
180.
Kids at home. So tell us how you're feeling, man.
Oh, you know what? This is okay. So I'm maybe a little different here because, okay. So when our son was 2.5, our daughter was born. So then my wife was home for most of the year. She was actually off maternity. She had to go back. She was off a little early. So at the time I stayed home. So I was home until she was old enough to go back to school. So from like 1-year-old to 4 years old or whatever it was, I stayed home. So actually staying home isn't that different for me. I actually left my job to do that. And so, but this time around, the kids are now 11 and 9. And they've been off since the March break. And so that Friday, the 20th of March was the day they came and told us to go home. Yeah. And it's going to be 2 weeks and,
yeah.
And then, but we have sort of a special sort of circumstances here because my wife also works in the hospital and they've got protocols to follow and all that stuff. And so she can't bring anything home, obviously. But she also cannot take anything back with her. And so we're very vigilant about that. Not, wiping everything anytime anybody moves, but we're pretty careful. And a lot of our hesitation and staying home has been that we know people who think this is a joke and have done nothing. Yeah. And so their kids have been having sleepovers and they've been in and out of each other's houses and, and kids, my kids' age, and so they, when the back to school came around, we knew those kids were going to be in that building. And, no, they're more important to us than any sort of social status quo or anything. Our kids, we worked pretty hard to get them here and to get them this far. So we're not going to be less vigilant now just because we're tired. Or I've been hearing so many people say, I can't wait for school to start back up because I don't want to look after my kids anymore. Well, what are you talking about? Why did you have them? Are they some sort of inconvenience to you?
Yeah.
Come on. I understand the need to get back to normal, whatever normal was. I understand the desire to have your parties and drink on the weekends and whatever. We don't live like that. So to us, it's not that's not such a big deal.
Yeah.
So actually keeping the kids home from school will probably mean that I lose my job. I was only working part-time anyway. I was 25 hours a week, Monday to Friday, because I was here because they're not old enough to be alone at home by law. So I would take them to school, and then I would go to work, and then I would get out of work and go pick them up. And so, like financially, I mean, it's a retail job, 25 hours a week. It's not like it's but the value of keeping them safer for now, we can revisit it. If the numbers now, to what Deke said, I'm going on here, but to what Deke said, where we live here has been pretty good. The numbers are low, and I mean, this is a city of 30,000 people, so it's not huge. And it's kind of an endpoint. I mean, like from here up the peninsula is smaller towns and that. So this is the last big stop before you get to the tip to Tobermory to go north. So I mean, it hasn't been too bad. Our only real problem is this area has historically sort of been red. And there's a lot of that mindset that says, you can't, oh God. So we try to stay safe. I'm feeling fine, but we just try to stay safe, and we try to get through. I've got guitars, I've got albums. I can, like Deke said, drop the needle, man. I'm good. And I can be here to help the kids with the school. I'm just grateful they're not in a grade where I wouldn't understand their math. Like grade 6 and grade 4, I can still do. If they get too much further on, I don't know. But we're probably safer than a lot. We because we are vigilant and always have been. We always say, are we helicopter parents? And do we hover too much? We try not to, because kids have to learn that independence. But there are some times, like now, where maybe So that's a long, winding answer to say, we're pretty good. We're doing all right, and doing what we have to.
I think even in smaller communities, you guys got to be careful, because look at the high school that they closed was in Pembroke, which is not a big town, but they had like 17 cases or something like that since the school opened, and they had to close it. So it can spread very easily.
I'll tell you this: they amalgamated schools. Our kids used to go to a school, and there were like 250 kids in the school, and there was a whole sort of dice game. It's all politics and crap. But what they did was they took all the we had 2 high schools, and they had an older building and a newer building, and they wanted to build another new high school, so they took all the kids, but they couldn't do it because the numbers weren't high enough. So what they did was they took all the kids from the newer building, and they shoved them all into the older building to say, oh, now look, we've only got 1 high school and we're overrun. Now we have to build a new high school. So what they did was they took, and this is so stupid. So what they did was they took 4 public schools worth of kids and put them in the newer high school building. And that's where my kids go. So there's like 900 kids in that public school. And when you think of all the people we know, let alone what else is out there, that haven't been doing any distancing, haven't been wearing masks, haven't been wiping anything down since March, don't care, think it's a joke. And you're going to they made it so that it was masks were only mandatory grade 4 and up. So grade 3 and down, all the kids who are going to put their fingers up their nose and lick things and stuff things in their mouth and then touch everything, they're the ones that don't need masks.
Well, and here's the other thing too. It's like it's not just COVID. It's flus and that. And kids are always sick. If they get sick, you have to go and they have to be tested. Even if they don't have COVID, then you got to keep them home for so many days. Like, I don't know how parents are supposed to, totally be at the beck and call of like going back and forth. Like, you got to give them. See, this is why I think like the government should just have made a decision instead of forcing all parents to make the decision. And I mean, honestly, I feel bad for people like Frank who are running bars and stuff like that. But I don't know how we think we can be in a position where we can eat our cake, have our cake and eat it too. If we want to open schools, then we got to be focused on that and not be messing around with bars and weddings and, you know, all this other stuff. You know, we got to decide what we're going to do, one or the other.
I just want to interrupt real quick because Deke's running out of power.
Oh, sorry.
Last thing I want to talk about was Crock and Rolls one last
Okay.
time.
Sorry.
So there's this fantastic movie that I want everybody to see. $5 at the door, the story of Crocs and Rolls. Deke, why don't you plug it one more time?
Yeah, it's a great documentary. I mean, it's music. It's like Aaron's always preached. It's about community.
Yeah.
One guy just being a music fan. I mean, Mike and Kev reviewed it and gave it stellar reviews. And, you know, Frank, like I said, Frank and Kristen have been very appreciative of it. And, you know, like it just like, I think it was Mike's review where he said like Frank was the kind of guy where he knew you were a genuine music fan and you didn't have enough cover to get in. Get in. Right.
He changed lives. He changed lives.
Yeah, and he changed her life, and she made a movie about it. I mean, like, that's the power right there. So,
where can you get it?
You can watch it online for free for 2 more days, and that's it. It's done after the 20th. Kevin, Deke, and myself have all posted the link on our respective reviews. So all 3 sites, you can find the link. Type in there's a password to watch it for free. Type that in, and you are good.
Okay.
And check out, and you got 2 days, and then they're looking at other distribution ideas.
Yeah, they got so it's I guess it started out at the film festival out west, out Calgary and stuff, and rave reviews, and it's pretty cool. You know, just a lot of Thunder Bay history there. Like, you know, they show the map of Canada, and you know, you got to go through Thunder Bay to get to Winnipeg.
Right.
Yeah. To get to Toronto. It's like, you know,
Thunder Bay is the Mos Eisley Cantina of.
That's right. Except the people don't look like the Mos Eisley.
And except instead of a desert, it's like rocks and trees and water.
The smart, I just gotta say, the smart thing that she did in that movie was the movie isn't just about Frank and it isn't just about her. It's both of their stories and how, you know, how he affected her, like how, you know, he's running a business, you know, he's trying to make money and all that stuff. But just how he brought all this music to Thunder Bay and how it affected her. And right. And how I think we talked about this earlier, I can't remember, but how she, you know, was showing her struggle to find new music, you know, how it wasn't easy in the early 90s. You couldn't just go, there was no internet, right? So you were relying on other people who had albums, and you were relying on maybe the radio might play something, you know, and that was it. So it was either you were going to buy an album or your friend was going to buy an album. That's the only way you're going to hear music. So to have something like that where it was coming in with the live shows and that, you know, it meant a lot.
Yeah, and he's passionate because, I mean, he let hackers like us get up on his stage. He'd let you go up and play, like our owners, and he'd actually pay us. I mean, I've heard this story before, but you know, like he was just that, you know, he would give you a shot locally, like, you know, and hey, you know what, can you come back on Tuesday night? It might not be the Friday, Saturday, but at least you could hit that stage, own up the chops a bit, and play through an actual sound system, which was, you know, when you're usually playing in a room, it's like, whoa, what's that sound coming? Oh, it's a monitor. Wow.
And the cool thing was when he said what he enjoyed the most was when the bands would come back and he could hear how much they improved.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't about like how much money they made or they sold more that night or whatever. He wanted to hear how much they improved. That's a music guy. You know, that's a guy who really loves music.
He's nurturing the bands.
Yeah. He knew the process. He understood it, you know.
Yeah. And like he said, you know, he kind of started, didn't really, I wish he would have told the full story. We'll have to get him on here, man.
That'd be awesome.
That would be nice.
Yeah, he has to tell the Frankie Venom from Teenage Head story because Frankie Venom tuned him right up when he first started promoting shows, right? So I guess he did allude to it with catering and stuff like that, but about sound and stuff. But yeah, you know what? Like I said, I know, you know, we all appreciate it. It was cool. Like I told Frank, I did not tell anybody to write a review. You guys did it.
I told you I was gonna.
Well, I know you told me, but I told Frank.
Yeah, you never asked me. You never asked. Nobody asked me.
I wasn't pushing anybody to write one. So
nobody asked me.
And he totally appreciated it because he's kind of fascinated by what we have, Blogsphere, right?
Well, I'm sure we can figure out a way to join forces with Frank at some point in the future.
And he was, I was telling him, he just wanted to know how I found you guys.
Yeah.
And explaining, he's like, wow, like he didn't even know this is that big of a thing. And I said, well, yeah, we got guys that we follow in Australia who follow us back in Sweden and Scotland and England.
Scotland, yeah.
And,
Scotland.
Everywhere. So
Westeros.
Hey.
Westeros. No.
And good old Thunder Bay.
Yeah, good old Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay. But anyways, boys.
Thanks, Deke. Thanks a lot, man.
It was awesome. Awesome talking to you, man.
Take care, man.
Well, I'll just chime in real quick with these last comments and say a bit about COVID. But Harrison's good with being isolated right now.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Candace, her life sucks. It's gone back to normal. Rob, we all do what we can during this isolation. And of course, Rob's been doing his show Wednesdays, Saturdays. Tonight he's doing Visions and Sound. This guy is a machine. He has barely missed a week. And he's doing his own thing to tie us all together.
And a true gent.
And in regards to when we were told it was going to be a couple of weeks, I remember that. I remember being 15 days was a number that was being thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris, regardless of his disqualifications of Aaron, says we did a great show. But I'll just real quick say that, we've all sacrificed. I've been more or less isolated during all this time. I've had to go to work. There's no way I can do my job from home. I need a much more elaborate setup. I need 2 monitors. I need a printer scanner. I need all that stuff. And if I got sick, or if I had to self-isolate, I don't know. They've given me a laptop. I don't know if I can do my job from home on a little skimpy little laptop that they've given me. And I do not want to get sick. I cannot afford to get sick. And if I get sick, Jen's automatically sick. And she's far more vulnerable than I am. And I have that responsibility. Now, having said that, she has been going out far more than me. She's maybe a little braver than I am, but she has different needs. Like, she's on disability, so she's stuck at home all day, every day anyway. And part of her mental health program is to try to get out of the house. So she's trying to do it in a safe way. And, we're all masked, which of course is not to protect us. It's to protect the people from our own moist speaking. So when I'm wearing a mask, it's not because I'm a weak person. It's not because I'm a sheep. It's because I care. And I'm trying to protect you from my spittle. And maybe you can't get this on the webcam, but I spittle when I talk. I just did it now. I just spittle. I'm terrible for it. So wearing that mask really is a gift to you from me. And I have said this before many times. Every brand out there needs to be making fucking masks. Visions and Sound, Rob Daniels is selling masks. Kraft Dinner should be selling masks with pictures of Kraft Dinner on it.
Yeah, why not?
Should be selling masks right now. There's money to be made.
There's got to be Kiss masks.
I sent you that text, Mike.
Yeah.
I saw them. Kiss Army.
Yeah. And I've also said that Gene Simmons should make one with a tongue. Yeah. There's a great Scottish musician that I follow on Facebook called Dave Arcady. And I got into him through our friend, James McCurry.
Yeah.
So James McCurry introduced me to Dave Arcady, and he plays like a Scottish bluegrass, bluesy, down-home bluegrass, which is kind of a bizarre thing. He's got this really long beard, and it's kind of his trademark, long gray beard. And he has designed these masks with an image of his beard on them. And I love it. They're sold out. They are sold out.
Yeah.
So my opinion, everybody needs to be marketing masks right now. Put an AC/DC logo on. Most of the stuff you see out there is unauthorized, but every brand should be selling authorized stuff because there's money to be made. And it encourages people to wear them. And we can have fun with this. When we were younger, what wouldn't you have given to go out every day wearing a mask? We would have loved it. We would have been pretending we were Cobra Commander, Sell a Cobra Commander mask.
Yeah. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
That's one of the disconnects, though, is the people who think that this is sort of infringing on their personal freedoms or whatever. And it isn't about you.
No,
it's about everybody else. You nailed it when you said that. It's about everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, it's so silly. Like you can't go into a store without pants. They ask you to cover up your genitalia. What's the difference? Cover your mouth. That's all.
My
that's
mouth
all
is
we're
far
asking.
more likely to get you sick than my wiener will.
Well, the best cartoon is that one where it's the peeing, like the person peeing on the other.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if I wear pants, I get pee on me. But if you wear pants, then the pee stays within yourself. It's common sense.
This is the mindset where, okay, think about it this way, the way the response has gone. Think about, okay, so any other vehicle, a car, a truck, a van, whatever it is, you have to wear your seatbelt.
Yeah. Well, there was protests against that back in the 70s.
Okay, but the law is you got to have a seatbelt on, right? Okay. 100%. But if you put 50 kids in a school bus, they don't need them.
No, they don't.
Okay, so everywhere else you go, you have to wear a mask, you have to use the hand sanitizer, you have to be 6 feet apart, everywhere else.
Yeah.
But we'll put 900 kids into a school and only half of them have to wear masks.
Yeah.
It's that same disconnect that happens. It makes me start to wonder whether people even value children, but it's that same disconnect with the masks where you think, okay, well, this is common sense and it's for a common good. So your personal politics, your personal ideologies, your personal idiocy, possibly, doesn't count here. Because this is bigger than you. This is everyone. So suck it up, Buttercup.
You know what, Aaron? I love a good conspiracy theory because, as you know, I'm a big fan of the old alien conspiracy theories. I was showing you my alien pants. I love conspiracy theories, but they've gone twisted in the last 10 years. I'm not into it anymore. Yeah. And nobody has been able to explain to me if this is all a hoax, if this is all a conspiracy. Nobody's ever been able to explain to me what the end game is. Control. And I'm like, that's not the end game. That doesn't make any sense. But having said that, I would love it if this was a hoax. I would be relieved if this was a hoax. I'd be thrilled if this was a hoax. I could go out again. I could play in the fields with children again.
If this was a hoax, it would have come out by now. Somebody would have spilled the beans. The amount of people it would take to pull this off, like it's anything. It's like the moon landing or whatever. I mean, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of people that would all have to be in on the thing, and people can't help themselves. They got to talk. Look at Trump's sister, like just a few weeks ago, blabbing away about how much she hates Trump. It gets out there. It doesn't stay contained. People can't help it. So
that's actually the theory about why they know there isn't a serious alien presence on Earth. Because if Donald Trump has been president for 4 years, you're really thinking,
there you go. Yeah.
But the other argument, Aaron, is that he's too stupid for them to share that information.
I mean, if you're a 4-star general, are you really giving him the codes? You might give him the fake ones. You're like a girl. You'll give him the fake number.
Yeah, Donnie, it really is 1, 2, 3, 4. So just make sure you don't press those numbers in that order.
Remember Spaceballs?
Yep.
Yes.
I've only got Moron would put that on his luggage, and then President Scrooge's like.
No,
guys, I want to thank you so much for participating tonight. Kevin, thank you for the subject.
Yes.
I ripped it off the internet like any good person would.
And real quick, before the last word, you plug what you're doing. You plug what you're doing. You plug what you're doing real quick.
Okay, Kevin, go.
I don't know. Just go to buriedonmars.wordpress.com.
There you go. buriedonmars.wordpress.com. You'll see it all. And Aaron is at keepsmealive.wordpress.com.
WordPress.com. I'm also on that right now. I'm going through every single CD I own and doing that. And the rest of my time is spent either teaching the children or doing this.
Yes.
Me too. I've been playing a lot of guitar as well. Why not? Eh?
I chose this comment to end on because it's a huge compliment. He wants to get more involved in our streams because he absolutely loves these conversations. So that's a huge compliment and a fantastic end to a fantastic show.
Well, and let me just thank everyone who came on too, because I honestly wasn't sure how interested anyone would be in the topics, especially since the last couple of episodes have really raised the bar, and you guys coming on really bailed me out of it. I thought it was just going to be me and Mike, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know if anyone's going to care. They're going to be bored. But you guys came in and just awesome to talk to all you guys. It was a lot of fun.
The challenge now is how do we do it again next week and have it still?
Let me tell you, just go around. It's like the Simpsons thing, or when the TV execs needed an idea, and what they do, they all pulled out their phones and they started like looking for like ideas. That's
Okay.
Stones deep cuts. Go.
There you go. Yeah.
Aaron, what did you say?
The Rolling Stones deep cuts.
Oh my God. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to make any commitments tonight. We'll put that one on the shelf for a potential future show. We talked about having some rockers on the show a couple weeks ago. We have a couple more lined up, and I don't know when they're going to be available, but there's a potential that we'll have somebody next week promoting his new album.
Cool.
The only problem is I don't have the new album yet. So, but we'll anyway. Long story short, we got all winter to do this. I've now subscribed to StreamYard for a year, so I'm committed to doing this.
How much am I allowed to ask? How much that was, or you don't want to say?
It was over $200
Canadian.
I don't remember. I hit the accept button on the PayPal. It's probably US.
Hey, you know what? You're getting so much out of it. It's worth it for you, man.
Well,
I feel like I should chip in.
The same thing, but I don't think that's fair because it's under my name. Only I can use it, so I don't think that's fair.
Oh.
But Deke brought that up earlier, and I appreciate the offer regardless. But you're already contributing tremendously because there'd be no show without you guys. Well, anyway, I need to like eat a taco, and
is that what they're calling it these days?
Sorry?
Oh. That's how you end a show, folks.
Yeah.
Mr. Books.
All right, guys. Rock and roll.
Hey, great idea, Kevin.
Oh,
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
How do I do this?